the White House, President Eisenhower signs the proclamation that makes Alaska's entry into the Union official, nearly 92 years after Lincoln's Secretary of State bought the territory from the Russian Tsar for $7 million.
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Big Rays, the Alaskan outfitter, committed to outfitting Alaskans across the state since 1947. Whether you're a recreator, parent, guide, or corporate buyer, Big Rays has the gear you need, tailored for Alaska's harsh conditions. Check out their new exclusive line of aerolic waders. Big Rays for all your outdoor gear and rugged work attire. BigRays.com.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives. AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce cards, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They are the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Lawn Pro AK, Alaska's year-round professional property maintenance team. Services include weekly lawn care, custom landscaping, fertilizing, weed control, turf repair, and more. Schedule your free estimate at lawnproak.com.
Alaska's OG cider company, Double Shovel, crafting gluten-free colonial-style ciders founded as a healthier, non-inflammatory brew option. Drop by their Pop and Tap room in Anchorage off of 58th and Arctic or visit the second location in Kodiak. Double Shovel, award-winning ciders.
The Alaska chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. BHA is the voice of our Alaskan public lands, waters, and wildlife. Their goal is to uphold our hunting and fishing legacy while keeping our public lands wild. Stand up today and join BHA at backcountryhunters.org.
Alaska Mining and Diving Supply, located in Anchorage, is our go-to for powder sleds and utility rigs. Whether you're in the mountains with the flat bill bros, running trap lines, or hauling freight, they have the selection to get you dialed from peaks to the valleys. Find them on Commercial Drive or akmining.com.
We talked about, being a little bit more lax in the beginning, and then after we went a full year and had one every week, it was like, you can't stop now. You can't miss a week.
Yeah.
It has to, it's established. So,
yep.
But thanks to everything he's done, because like you said earlier, the fall off when it becomes this is kind of too much behind the scenes. I got other shit to do.
It's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I've done it, but I can only imagine,
Yeah. And then it works out too, it just so happens the seasonality of where he can have some time for it, it just works out in our favor. And if it wasn't for that, I don't think it would be what it is today, really. So I say it all the time, but thanks again, Daniel.
You're welcome.
Congrats, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
with anything, it's like building a dog kennel, or whether you're building a podcast, takes a lot of friggin' work, you know, and there's probably a lot of days where you guys are like, man, I don't know if we can keep this thing going, or
it would be easy to just be easy to bag it.
Yeah, or like,
or do it half-assed, or
should
do
we
it
take
really
a week off, or like let's take the summers off, and and then
those conversations have been had.
Yeah, and it's a domino effect, and then it's kind of like the beginning of the end.
You're calling it, bro. You're calling it. You have to just grind through and make it happen.
Yep, 100%.
This is definitely one of those things where you have to stay on it. I think the second you take a break, you're going to lose your momentum and your traction. And you know what? People are, in general, are kind of, what have you done for me lately? By nature. So you have to be in their faces all the time. You have to be present.
Yeah.
Because if you give up and they're like, oh, man, like, didn't have one this week, I'll just move on to this next one, and boom, you're done.
No, and I
lose you.
I've been in the same boat as, I guess, a listener. I'll go check in on a podcast and I'll be like, oh, no new episode? Like, nah, fuck it. And then I forget. And then a couple weeks goes by. You found a new one. And then, then maybe I'll pop back into it. And it's like, oh, they got a new one. But then, I think you need that consistency to, like, just continue to grow and stay relevant. And
even the consistency, people can, like, fall off for whatever reason, and they come back and be like, oh man, there's a whole bunch I've missed. Like maybe that one that came out that week is not their whatever jam, but they can be like, oh man, they had this person or that, or I'm into this or that. So there's just like, I don't know, is there too much, can there be too much content?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think
like
so,
that,
right?
that's like,
no.
I'm sure you guys have listeners where it's like, maybe some of the topics aren't like their thing, but then like you guys have such a variety of guests, and variety of conversations to where it's like, oh, they can go and check in and be like, all right, they got this is cool.
Totally. Yeah. And it's like we're still trying to shake the stigma and the narrative that like it's a hunting podcast. It's like, dude, it's not that. It's a lot of shit about Alaska.
Yeah.
And hunting's like just a fraction of it,
for sure.
But yeah, you're right. I just think some people don't like the flavor of the week of that episode, and that's cool, man. Check in again in a month. We'll have 4 new ones.
Yeah,
but even so, like when you look at like the numbers, it's like, okay, so there's maybe like 100 less downloads versus there's still lots and lots and lots of downloads happening, but maybe that week was just like maybe 100 people didn't like it.
Yeah,
but still. All the other 1,000 people did,
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. No, and it's pretty cool having guests back, and tonight's badass to have you back. I think 3rd time, right?
3rd time, baby.
3rd time,
dude.
That's the most.
He's an all-timer, bro.
Yeah,
damn.
That's it. You're in the lead,
man.
I'm like that ex-girlfriend you can't get rid of.
Just lingering. Just see what the movie's. Hey. Oh shit, man! There she is.
Just seeing how you doing.
Hey, Karen.
Fuck. Come on over.
It's been a year and a half. It's like we never missed a beat.
That's funny.
That's love.
That's love.
That's love. That's right. Hell yeah.
That's real love. Did you drive in from Willow today?
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
How's the road?
Not too bad. I mean, today.
The main highway is probably good.
Yeah, it seems like they've been fucking plowing and sanding, all day. So it's not that bad. There's a few spots where it's, maybe the 3 lanes went down to 2.
Yeah.
People don't know where to drive, but
they're
figuring it out.
That's what happens when these big snows like that. Just necks everything down.
Yep.
I saw a meme. It's like, the guy from Captain Phillips. The guy who's like, he's like, I'm the captain now.
Oh, that
guy.
Yeah,
so it's
the
like
lead pirate.
Like the top picture is him with the thing, and then the bottom is like 1 lane, but like 3 cars unknown. Is like, these are the lanes now. It's just like, okay.
Basically.
Oh shit! The little guy did a great job in that movie.
Yeah, he did. He blew up his. That's like the big.
I think that like took him off, right? That was his.
Oh, I'm sure.
He took off on that.
We don't know his name, but he's doing
I
good.
don't know his name.
The captain guy now.
Dude,
Awesome.
he's got a lot of memes, though.
He's got a lot of memes. The most famous memer ever.
He's more famous than Jack Sparrow.
I don't know, man. The other guy with the big black guy, that guy might be the number one meme guy.
Which
Oh,
one?
yeah, the
The
big
big
Jamal Schlong.
Yeah. The one they did at Alyeska. I forget
I
his
think
name.
we have that.
That sticker somewhere.
No, I think
Someone
I put it away. I was like, man, that might be. We got kids watching this show, man.
No, man, that's hilarious, man.
No, I don't know. I think we ended up just snagging them all. We had them stacked in
Did
here
you
somewhere.
see that though? That
No.
meme? Okay, you know how
I mean, yeah, I seen the meme. I didn't know you guys had a sticker.
Somebody made a
the
sticker out of
Alyeska
it.
meme. What
No.
they did, okay, so you know how somebody like carved in, I guess it was one of the dudes who worked there, like carved a big
Old
dick
employee that was
at
like
the top of
bitter
the
about
mountain.
Allie.
At the top of the mountain, like a huge one, like
In the
huge
snow,
dick.
yeah.
Because something happened with the ownership or something, and they ended up closing it, and somebody got mad, so they put a huge dick, and it made like national news.
Oh, wow.
And then, like, 1 minute later, there's the meme. It's just that black guy on top of the mountain, and it just shows the white
With a hat on his shit.
with the Christmas hat.
That's awesome.
So somebody made stickers of it, and we got some somehow, and I don't know where they went.
I forget who brought those in.
Man, but speaking about the snow, man, it is wet,
bro.
wet.
Wet and messy.
Wet and messy.
Perfect for the kids though, because they could build stuff and
And it's warm too.
Yeah.
yeah. I was watching my. I got a old Honda snowblower. I was like, yeah, we're gonna bust that out today. That thing just like starts.
Yeah.
Just
One pull.
just no problem. Like I started it for the first time last year in like 10 years, and it just was like pop. So I knew today I was like, this thing's just gonna go.
Yeah.
Right away, boom. And I'm watching I do mine, and I'm in the house, and I'm looking across, and I see my neighbor finally come out, and he has one of those like
The electric with the cord and
one.
shit.
Yeah, man. She's like, oh, dude. I was like, hey, Mateo, we're gonna set the timer on this guy, see how long it takes for him to do it. Bro, he got like 1/4 of the way done, and then like I guess the other neighbor felt bad for him. He sent his kids out there like
Go shovel this guy's
to
driveway.
go help him. Yeah, but it still took an hour.
This is the homie that sold you the RV?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I would have gone out there. I literally just got inside from like 2.5 hours just sopping wet, and I was like, ah, man.
Now feeling going back out.
Yeah.
Sucks to suck, bro.
I was just going to let him go a little bit and see how it went, and then I saw that the other neighbor sent the kids over. I was like, all right.
All right,
feel so
I'm going to
bad.
hang out and drink a beer in the house.
Just close the drapes. I wanted a beer in the house bad.
I figured out what was wrong with my blower. Because it was like, I couldn't get it to like push snow and throw it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what's going on with this? I sheared a pin on one of the drivers.
Yeah.
And I always kind of knew that was going to happen sometime. I've had the thing forever. And finally, I'm looking at it. I had done part of the driveway, spent like almost 3 hours shoveling the motherfucker, dude.
Shoveling is.
Oh, my
that's a
God,
workout.
right
That
now.
back, you have a sore back.
Oh, I was doing full like squat, like.
Yeah, getting the form right.
Oh, man, my legs are so sore. I was, man. I don't want to blow my back out, bro.
Yeah,
It's been feeling good, man. I ain't trying to fuck that up, man. It's once it goes, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I look down there and I'm like, looks like something's missing. Free spin it. I'm like, oh my God. Go in the garage, I don't got the right bolt, but I find a pin and a cotter pin. So I'm like, oh, perfect. Rig it all up. Womp, womp, womp. Finish it up. I'm like, oh my God,
nice.
perfect timing. Would have taken me another hour.
Yeah.
But it was such a relief because I was like, man, I guess I got to do the side of the house. And yeah, dude, this shit it makes me grumpy now, man.
I know, dude. You're all like,
I
I
get-
love it. Like, I love when it snows like that, and it's a snow day, and go outside and do it all. And
You love it. You're a musher.
It's stressful, man.
I mean, you told us what like your snow bullshit was, and I'm like, oh, city boy shit about it. Rah. But you got dog bulls to find and willows to knock down and
Yeah,
four-wheelers
just-
to pull out and
It's just, you got to go put in the trail and go proof it. So you're going to spend some time doing that. All this wet, heavy snow brings all the trees down. So you got knocked over trees and all the willows are, slumped over. So you got to bushwhack. And
does it go slower on the ride? Because the sleds kind of pack up that snow, that wet snow?
Yeah, it's, when it's soft, of course, you're going to be slower moving. Today they cruised along pretty good, though. So it wasn't too bad. They were moving along probably 9-10 miles an hour or so.
Nice. Just a quick couple shout outs. If you're looking for a snowblower or something, go see the guys at Alaska Mining and Diving. They got
AME.
An AME, one of those stores right next to each other there. They have the the Honda, Husqvarna, several of the ones. And if you're not into doing that yourself, I know the other sponsor, Sno-pro, called Justin up there, lawnproak.com. I know he just got a whole bunch of new trucks. He has a whole fleet of trucks. And
trucks?
He was looking for people to work, too. So if you're looking to, if you wanted to work, I mean, that's a good part-time there to do
hit
that.
him up, actually, on that.
Yeah, it'd probably be fun. I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, that's probably a fun job. Those big rigs. I don't know what they call those yellow ones. The city ones.
Oh, the graders?
Yeah, they're just in there in their T-shirt, just like everyone moves out of your way. Yeah. Anyway, Lawn Pro, 280-7098. Give them a call if you're trying to work or just get your stuff plowed. I know a lot of it's heavy.
Yeah, good call.
And tough to move. LawnProAK.com.
Well, and it's early. Like, I don't want to beat the snow thing down, but it's early. It's just November.
Yeah.
So we still have like 4 or 5 months of really heavy snow months, and this was a hell of a start.
And it was good that they already had a holiday tomorrow for the students because they canceled.
Right.
Like all the teachers, we were supposed to have trainings tomorrow. They canceled all the trainings, so there's no work tomorrow again. So they would have canceled school again.
It's supposed to be a little snow year, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, maybe this is like, blows its wad out of the gate. Hopefully, I don't know, but
it happens.
You're always going to get consistent snow up there, though, aren't?
Yeah, it even there, I guess the old kind of sourdough trick is to look at the height of the fireweed. And
what's that? That's how high the snow's going to be?
Yeah.
Oh, I never heard that.
Doesn't it get taller when it's hot, though?
Tall fireweed, they say, big snowfall year. And in the past 2 years, it has been.
Oh, it's so beautiful out
there. It's been really tall fireweed.
Yeah.
This year it was short. There was like 3 feet. Tall fireweed.
I didn't notice the fireweed like crazy out by the highways this year.
Yeah, it was pretty short. So
they said it's El Nino or something, right?
Yeah, and they said so. There's that, and then I guess reports say El Nino. Warm and low snow. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of snow now.
Yeah.
Starting off.
I would say, though, that it's a good base.
It's
a great base for skiing and snow machining. And
it's wet and heavy. It's going to set up.
All the trails in town, they're all going to have a nice pack. And so all the snow from here is only going to be.
It'll set up like concrete. I just wish things were frozen.
Oh, beforehand?
Yeah. Because now you're just going to be like fighting overflow and water, and it's good. It's going to take a while now for
things were just starting to freeze, but didn't get like rock hard.
Yeah, no,
we didn't have any like 10-degree nights for a week.
So like all those swamps and the lakes and everything like that, the snow insulates, and then takes a little longer to freeze up. But
yeah.
I
was because I was looking at a property. I meant to call you out there in Willow area. I went out there with Bootsy and walked a couple lots I've been looking at.
Where at?
Off of Fish Hook Road up there, up by Hatcher's Pass. But where it was, like one side was really nice and the other side was still like wet and swampy. I was like, I don't know if this is probably swampier more in the summer than it was like a week ago. But I know that my brother's been helping you out there at the new spot. I was like, oh, it's cool that Eddie's out here. But you're not there, right? You're before there?
So, yeah, I'm about right after Hatcher's Pass, Polaris.
Okay.
Yeah, right when you're getting into Willow, right before town site.
Yeah. So how'd that all come into place? It's probably a long story, right?
Yeah. I guess as far as me going out on my own.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot to unpack. So let's just do it,
We'll
because
dive
there's been
into
a
it.
lot of stuff that's happened in the last year with you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I finished Iditarod. Had a great Iditarod, great mushing season.
Rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eventful Iditarod.
Eventful Iditarod. Fuck. But just an overall really good season, you know?
Great experience, right?
Yeah. I won the Connect 200, big mid-distance race. Went to the Kuskokwim 300, you know, which is most competitive, you know, premier mid-distance race of the world.
Yep.
Went and took third there, and then going into Iditarod, I was feeling good and had my sights set on Rookie of the Year, top 10. You know, those were my goals, and we ended up pulling that off. So I was extremely happy with my season, and I talked with Aaron and Tony, who I was, you know, partnered up with, and you know, Tony and I had plans to continue training dogs and
You were going to kind of take over, or
yeah, and that was kind of the, you know, the plan was for me to continue to be the racer and represent the kennel and keep things moving, and but you know, I guess Aaron had maybe different plans. They're at the end of it, you know, and so I decided to, you know, go my separate ways and start my own kennel. So
with his support.
Yeah, I mean, you know, things are fine.
Cool. Yeah.
You know, I talk to Tony all the time. We have a really close relationship.
Sure.
And
he's your protege, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he was a great mentor and all that. So I still keep in touch with him. He's a good friend. And so, yeah, you know, basically we're at April, you know, when this was decided. So I only have, you know, I have to have dogs, have an established property, cabin, equipment, gear, everything by September 1st. So
To qualify.
From April to September 1st, if I wanted to have my own kennel, I knew it was crunch time. I needed
balls to the walls.
I need to get a property. I need to build a cabin. I need to put in a dog yard. Got to build dog houses. I got to get all the equipment. You know, I need meat saws, and I need, you know, just dog bowls and houses, and, you know, the poles
Lumber
and
and
spinners.
hardware. I mean, all of
just, you know, the list goes on and on. That, you know, for what it takes to run a kennel.
And summer's your work time, right?
So I'm working a full-time job. So with the help of McKenna Brothers, who's a big sponsor of mine, also my employer, I was able to acquire some property, and I built a cabin, and I acquired dogs. I got 20 dogs from 2 different kennels. And then, yeah, that's basically
So why
the
September
gist of it.
1st?
Because September 1st
deadline?
is when we start training.
Okay, there's not like an inspection or if you
No,
want to be on
nothing
the
like that.
races.
No, it's just like, if I'm going to be doing this, I have to be set up, and everything needs to be up and running by September 1st.
that was like a deadline you put on it.
Yeah.
Based on how a kennel is properly run.
Correct.
Seasonally, and getting your dogs
Yep. Yeah.
rolling.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I ended up being like 2 days late. September 3rd was when I hooked up and started running the dogs. So it was a stressful, hectic summer, and I'm still not done. Like,
Oh, I'm sure you're never going to be done.
you know, I'm still hauling water to the cabin. Like, I got yeah. I mean, I was living in like a plywood shack there for a while. No power. Yeah. No electricity.
Doing it right, though.
But yeah, I was roughing it, and I mean, I'm not complaining either. You know,
I think it's just
I
adds to the
enjoyed
story,
it,
bro.
and it's been an enjoyable process, but extremely stressful as well.
I bet.
But been making it happen, and
Sure.
Dogs are doing great. They're as far as training goes, I'm basically at the same stage of training I was last year. I might be a couple days behind, but I mean nothing major to set a dog team back or anything like that.
Still on schedule.
I'm on schedule. The dogs are prime and healthy. And
Did you get to keep any of the dogs from the old team?
no, I had one dog that I purchased. So I guess kind of right before Iditarod, I was short 2 dogs. I had a small group of dogs to work with from the get-go. I really only had about 16 dogs to start my training season with. Most people at least have like 24 to 20
Oh, wow.
at a minimum, a pool of, A-string race dogs.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, the
you're
roster narrows down toward the
you're
right?
going to have little nicks and dings and things like that. And, little things might come about. So you want to have that pool of dogs to work with because you need 14 healthy dogs to start the race with. So all season long, I had about 16. And I kept those 16 dogs really healthy and all the way up until just about February. And then I had a couple little nicks and dings and things like that where I was like, man, I got to start looking for some spare dogs. So I started making some phone calls. And I called Jesse Holmes, who's he's on Life Below Zero.
Are they still filming that show?
Yeah,
It is?
he's a top musher. One of the best to be doing it. And he's got incredible dogs. And he was very willing to help me out. He was like, "Yep, I got." He goes, "Well, our first conversation, he was like, "Well, I'll give you my worst dog out of my my race pool." And I was like, all right, I'll take him.
I need a dog, man.
Well, that got me thinking, what's the criteria? What are you looking at when you're going to go buy a dog? Are you looking at a certain position?
So there's
Are you choosing different dogs for different positions in the...
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a lead dog specifically, then, things are going to be a little bit different. But, I was just looking for a good, honest team dog. And
Experienced
so
in the right age and all that?
He wasn't even experienced. He never even raced before.
Oh.
He never even been to a race. He was 2 years old, so he's young. He's not even really fully matured. But he said he saw potential in him, but he still needed a lot of work. And he has so many dogs to work with, so it's kind of hard for him to, I think, really just focus on one dog when, hey, I got I got 19 more that are.
Yeah, especially if he's a practice squad dog,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's on the farm team,
Got the call up.
He's in the minors.
Yeah, he's in the minors.
And then here comes Eddie and, calls him up to the big leagues. So, I guess as far as what I look for in a dog.
And he ran that Iditarod?
Yeah, he did, and he finished.
Wow.
And which is, he never even raced before, 2 years old, finished Iditarod in the top 10, 7th place. It's
that's crazy.
Incredible dog, never missed a beat.
The real rookie of the year?
Just rose to the occasion.
Yeah, no, the dog's a machine.
What's his name?
Red Dog.
Oh,
Red
wow.
Dog.
He's big, handsome. But, yeah, I guess as far as attributes that I look for, you want a nice build. So you're looking at their frame, their physique, bone structure, things like that.
We're talking about dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course.
Like real framey.
Yeah. Curves, baby. They got to have a really nice coat as well. Good coat, good feet. And then there's the physical things, the appetite. That's really important to me. The attitude. I like a dog with a good attitude, high energy.
Yeah.
Just happy to be there, happy to
Sure.
run.
Yeah.
So he had all these qualities, so I really liked him. So I ended up purchasing him after Iditarod. And so that was the real first sled dog that I ever bought.
Yeah, that was yours.
That was mine. Yeah. So I took him.
Okay.
And then I went out and I basically scrounged together like the best group of dogs that I possibly could.
Okay.
And I think I did a good job. And, I'm working with what I could get.
Sure.
And I think they're turning it into a pretty special group. So I think we'll be competitive.
Okay. And you have a lead dog?
Yep.
Is it Red Dog?
Red Dog is one of the leaders. Yeah, he's never really ran lead before. I've been working with him in lead this year, and he's developed into like a really good lead dog.
Way cool, man.
So, yeah, he's come a long ways. I've put a lot of work into him, and it's shown. So
does he get to ride in the truck with you and shit too?
Yeah, he lived with me in Anchorage all summer. So
okay.
Or for most of the summer.
Oh, you guys got a bond.
And so, like, he was a house dog. He was tearing up my yard, fucking pissing off the neighbors. Shit. Just like,
like, we need to go out and live in the woods, Dad.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, he was happy he was just like, wherever Dad's at, I'm cool. But like, you could tell he was like, I don't know about this city life.
Yeah.
He's just wrecking havoc.
So many smells and
yeah.
Well, I bet you don't have as much time to exercise them too, right?
Yeah. We did a lot of walks and things like that, but it's not really cutting it, for a high performance machine.
Yeah, he wants to roll. He wants to rip.
Well, I'm thinking because I got a puppy. She's like 6 months now, and I'm like the opposite of what you want. Because as we're walking, like I don't want her to pull. I'm like trying to get her to not pull. Don't pull. And you're probably like pull, motherfucker, pull.
Well, that's like the interesting thing. They know when they're on a leash. I mean, it takes work, of course, but a lot of them they like figure it out. Okay, we're going on a walk. Like I'm not in harness. Like it's not time to work.
Yeah.
So you can
casual.
You can get him just to kind of walk around, and like I had him where my 11-year-old daughter was walking him. So
nice.
Yeah, he wasn't dragging around or nothing.
What's some of the other dog names? You always got like the best dog name.
Oh shit. So there's of course there's like litter themes. So there's like the Viking kind of Nordic. So there's like Odin, Ragnar, Loki.
Sweet.
Then there's some like just human names like Jerry. And then there's like some different ones, like Ventana, and there's a I don't know.
Old Jerry, huh?
Yeah,
Old
Jerry.
When you get the dogs, are they named or you name them?
So these dogs were all named since I got them from different kennels and stuff. So they were all named. But yeah,
what's we've talked about this before, but refresh my memory on like the age criteria. You mentioned Red Dog was 2.
Yep.
Do they at least need to be a year old in order to even get them going, or is 2 kind of like the baseline?
I'd say for racing, 2 to 3 years old is like the earliest you'd want to start like racing them. You can do, if they're yearlings or 1 to 2 years old, and you want to take them to a race and do it at a real casual level, like call it a puppy schedule.
Oh.
And like that's great. They get the experience, they get to go through the motions. You probably pull over, take extra rest, break up the longer runs, things like that. But as far as like competitively racing a 1 to 2 year old dog, you're probably not going to benefit that dog for its future. Like those first couple of years, you want to make it fun, positive. Plus, their bodies aren't fully developed as well. So, you don't want to go balls to the wall, and then you have a dog that's not fully developed, and it's kind of, this is their first experience, to racing, and it can kind of be.
It might shock them a little bit.
Yeah.
They might not respond long term, right?
For sure. Or there could be, you go to a future race and it's like, okay, I know where we're at now. So I'm going to give like 80% now. And then you might only get about 80% from that dog for the rest of its life.
Okay. Gotcha. What's the new kennel name?
Off the rails.
Off the rails.
Yeah. So it's kind of a joke. So, as you guys know, I fell off my sled on Iditarod on my birthday, going down the Yukon River.
Was on your birthday.
Yep. Yeah, it was my birthday night. So, I was on the Yukon River on my way to Eagle Island.
This is on the race.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think got to 35 below that night. We were having a great run too. But, we're deep into the race. It's nighttime. It's late. I don't know.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long several days. Because at this point, I don't know, Eagle Island, I think you're probably somewhere around like 600, 700 miles in the race, or 600, something like that. So you're deep in it. And
it's really a grind at that time, isn't it?
Yeah. And I had some other like situations that have happened where like I wasn't able to really take care of myself and sleep that well. And so, I was going off very minimal amount of sleep. So as soon as like it would get dark, my body's just like shutting down. I'm nodding off, and then it's just kind of like you fight through it. And then finally, like, you'll work through it, and then you'll be up and at it. And
is it almost like driving tired?
Yeah.
Because it's hard, Once you start getting tired, it's
once you start going,
okay, I got to pull over.
You start pulling those hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just open all the windows. Just
No, it's just like that, So
it's quiet on the trail, right?
It's extremely quiet. Like, there was no headlamps.
Just kind of whipping along.
And you got to imagine, like, you start the race, and, at my first checkpoint, I got maybe about 30 minutes of sleep. And then, you go to the next one, I got about another 30 minutes or so. And then, I guess this continues to go on. And you get to your 24-hour break, but you got to care for dogs, and you got to wake up, and they're on a feeding program, and you have to feed them.
It's just a series of naps,
and
it's just not really like sleep.
She's really, it's just naps, these little micro naps.
It's like Vegas.
So it's kind of like, dude, it's like Vegas, but no women. And
without all the bright lights.
Yeah, no heat. You got to imagine, I probably averaged about an hour to 2 hours of sleep a day. So just imagine working all day. Like, let's say you work 22 hours. You get 2 hours of sleep. Wake up, work 22 hours, 2 hours of sleep.
Jeez.
And just continue.
By day 3, you're just...
Continue to do that. And like, keep in mind that you're outside. You're working outside.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And you're in the cold all day long.
Your energy.
Most people go out in the cold for, 3-4 hours, and they're like, fucking zonked, you know? They're like, I feel exhausted,
Oh, yeah.
So just imagine doing that over and over and over for 9 days. And, you're going to get to the point where your body is just fucking shutting down.
Yeah.
And, like, you don't have control over it.
Full exhaustion.
Yeah. And, like, I was on the Yukon, and I just wasn't really thinking much of it. And I'm just nodding off, and I'm swinging my leg, and I'm trying to, stay awake, and I'm running next to my sled a little bit. And I hop back on, and, like, I just, doze off without really knowing. And my foot fell off the runner board, and I tripped and stumbled, and I fell. And there goes my dog team, and I'm like, whoa, guys, easy, and they're all looking back at me like, what the fuck are you doing back there, they're slowing down, but I'm getting up, and I'm running, and I'm like, hey, guys, easy, slow down, whoa. And they're just trickling along, but it's still not, they're not slowing down to the point where I can catch them, you know? And
because they don't just like stop, right?
And then so now there's no resistance on the sled or anything like that, and it's just kind of easy.
Oh, because you have a thing, if you fall, it like sets a brake.
No, like a lot of guys will tie themselves off to their sled, and like that was something that I didn't do, like, and that's just lack of experience on my part.
Tie yourself off?
Because, like
around your
attach yourself to
like
the
a
sled
tether.
somehow. Yeah, like a tether, you know. You know, up until Iditarod, the longest race I ever did was 440 miles. And like that race took 3 days. I didn't sleep for 3 days. I was fine. You know, I was like, I can stay up for 3 days straight, race my ass off.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm exhausted by the end of it.
You're focused and dialed the whole time, though.
But like, I can keep it together. But with Iditarod, you know, just being 9 days, it was just a different level. So I didn't even think of like tying myself off. I guess maybe I was like a little, you know, careless. I was a little content, you know,
race mode.
And
lapse in judgment there, and like you said, lack of experience. I mean,
and lack of experience, you know, and so
it's cool to be honest about that. And, you know,
so I fell off, and there goes my dog team, and like I said, they started to slow down, but then I said my leader's name, and I had Dudley in lead, and I was like, Dudley. I was trying to get his attention, like where he'd stop the team, and man, he like acted like, you know, I was calling him up, and like, dude, he stretched that team out.
Oh, really?
Gone.
Oh no! He thought it was like, good boy, go.
He's like, all right.
Oh yeah. No, it did the exact opposite.
Oh no!
And he took off, and they were hauling ass, and they ran all the way to the Eagle Island checkpoint. So at this point, I was about 18 miles from the checkpoint. So like I was getting pretty close, you know, to getting to the checkpoint. And this is a really long stretch. There's no village or anything like that. Eagle Island is just a couple of tents. And that's all there is.
A little
there.
pop-up camp for the race, and that's it.
Yeah. And so
You had to walk that whole 18 miles?
So I walked for about, an hour, a good hour. And then another musher came by, and he was like, who's that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, hey, it's Eddie. He's like, who? And I'm like, dude, the fucking dog musher.
Where's your dogs?
I lost my dog team.
Oh, that must have been embarrassing. Huh?
He was like, oh, man. I was like, hey, I don't think they could have gotten far, you know. I figured, like, my sled would tip over, and then, like,
slow them down.
as soon as the little resistance happened, then they'll, you know.
Or they don't hear your voice for a while or something.
Yeah,
right?
you know, so it's like I figured something would happen to keep them from going on. And he was like, all right, yeah, my team's just kind of crawling along anyways. And so he told me to hop on. And so I was like, all right, cool. Appreciate it. Thank you, you know. And so we hop on. We're kicking and pumping. And then
do you like go on the other side of the back?
So we're like,
you're not like in the sled.
We're like each on one.
I'm just envisioning him just like,
hey.
We're nuts about.
I just thought you were like right in there with just cheesing.
No, so we're like each standing on a runner.
Okay.
And we're kicking and going along.
Kind of like two dudes riding a snow machine?
Yeah. And so he, like, but then there's like headlamps behind us, you know?
Oh.
I could kind of.
Guys are catching up.
I could see him kind of getting anxious, you know? And I'm like.
Oh, he's like, you're slowing me down, bro.
Yeah, and, well, they were actually moving along really good, too. And I was like, man, they don't seem to be crawling. Like, they look good. And he was like, well, they haven't been doing this. And I was like, oh, it's probably just like the other person back here, the excitement, you know, change of voice or whatever.
Yeah, some different energy back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the dogs, like, were perked up and they were charging along. But then I kind of think, like, the wheels were turning for him, and he's like, I got people coming. Dog team's like perked up. Like, let's ditch the dead weight and fucking go. And so, you know, I was like, hey, I can get off. And he was like, yeah, I think that'd probably be best. And
how many miles did you guys get?
So I was on his sled for about like probably 20, 30 minutes.
Okay, so 5 miles.
So he was probably thinking, "Oh, I'm just gonna take him up a little bit, and we'll find this dog." And then he's like, "Where are these things?"
Yeah. So we're like 20, 30 minutes into it, and so I was like, "Yeah," like, and like we've all worked really hard to get to Iditarod, and then plus like we're in the top 10, like, and we're late in the race, and we're in the top 10, and like. This is where the race really starts to like shake out.
Okay.
And so it's like, this is the time to like turn it on and be competitive. And this is where like moves are made, So, I completely understand. Like, he's got goals and, so like, I'm not trying to affect anyone's race. So I was like, yeah, no worries.
Well, and collectively, the decision isn't like, this is a life-threatening situation necessarily. Like,
I was like, I can walk. I'm fine, dude. And he was like, all right, cool.
Okay, yeah.
And then plus I saw the other headlamps, and it was 35 below, but whatever. I'm dressed for it.
Mm-hmm. Did you stop the next person and be like, hey?
And the next guy comes up, and he was actually my main competition for Rookie of the Year, and his name's Hunter Kief, and he was just like, hey, hop on. And he was like super energetic. And
oh, that's cool.
He was having a great time. And he was like, oh, yeah, well, I'll just take you all the way to the checkpoint if we don't come across your dogs.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't care. And like his dog team was like on fire too. So they didn't slow down a bit. And they were cruising along. So
he was just the guy you needed.
Yeah, dude, he was my hero.
Well, and I was thinking, remembering the story, reading that, hold that thought, but that he can appreciate everything where you're at and how you got to where you are being rookies. Like we made it.
Yeah.
And then here you are, a fellow rookie competition, but at the same time, really like sled dog brethren. And, I think it's cool. Like, it feels like you guys want to see each other succeed.
100%. And that was like one of the big stories of the race, just that sportsmanship. Looking out for each other, sportsmanship, yeah. And like he's the definition of a true sportsman because he had a lot on the line, a lot to lose. He could have, he was right there for Rookie of the Year. He was right there for top 10, things like that. So, he was willing to like put his race on hold to help me out and get me to the checkpoint. And like, I was super, super thankful for that. And, he's a true definition of a sportsman.
Yeah, what a stand-up dude for doing that.
And, but there's a lot of that on the race, and it's pretty cool. Like, there's guys helping out. That was like one of the big stories. A lot of the other little stories get lost, but people's sleds break and people are like, hey, take my extra sled, or here's an extra part, or here's runner plastic, or like, whatever the case may be, like people are pretty helpful.
The Alaska thing.
Dog care stuff or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. People are pretty helpful out there.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that was cool to see, like, cause I didn't really know what to expect, especially up in that top group.
Right.
Everybody's like...
Because they could have get cutthroat, and guys are like, so long, sucker.
Yeah. Give you the finger and go. Right. And like, I had one musher, and like I said, I totally get it, He was like, hey, sorry, man. Like, I can't take you.
Yeah.
I was like, no worries. Yeah. I get it. Because like, once again, we've all put so much work in to be there, and to we've set goals.
Yeah.
And
you're all about that schedule, man.
It's a lot of time, a lot of money.
Yeah.
And something like that could set you back one place, but that one place can be a lot, it can be a few grand or whatever. So
you get to Eagle Island.
Yep.
The dogs are chilling, waiting for you.
Yeah, they're just hanging out.
So who retrieved them when they rolled into town or rolled into the camp?
Yeah, so they came
checkpoint?
They came into the side of the checkpoint.
It wasn't a town, but
Dallas Seavey spotted them. They were coming into the side of the checkpoint, so Dallas Seavey drove them and parked them in. And like for those who don't know, Dallas wasn't racing. He's a he's a 5-time Iditarod champion.
Yep.
And arguably one of the best to
ever do it.
To ever stand on the runners.
Was he just holding down that camp?
So yeah, he was just kind of traveling throughout the trail. He had a dog team in the race. So he was just kind of following along and doing his thing. So he actually parked the team, and of course they're not allowed to do any like the dog care or the feeding or anything like that. He just simply secured the team, and that was it. Walked away from him. And then they just kept an eye on him from a distance and waited till I got there. And so once I got there, I had to go through all the dogs. They've been running unattended for like 18 miles, and overall everybody was good and healthy. They were a little spooked, just from being out on their own. So there was definitely like a decline in attitude and demeanor. Just from, once again, being out on their own.
I'm sure that goes for everybody on the team, including you. Just
yeah.
Everybody's looking at each other like, whoa,
sorry, guys. What happened?
Yeah. And they're like,
there you are.
You guys ready for a freshie?
Yeah. I was going to take a break and get one.
Oh,
we can
okay.
finish the.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they, they're looking at me like I abandoned them. And I'm like, hey, guys, like, that's not exactly how it happened. But, they're dogs.
Gonna leave us like that in the middle of the race?
So, yeah, I definitely had to do, like, some reassuring there of, like, getting the bond and the trust back and attitudes up. And so that
do you
right
lick
there,
them?
Not quite, but
just give them all an individual kiss on the lips.
Yep.
But
I love you.
But yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I do love a dog kiss.
Yeah, a lot of happy talk, and so yeah, they were getting spoiled with love for a bit, and they ended up turning it around and
some short term memory, and
they started to perk right back up, and like, okay, we're back with Dad, we're doing our thing, like we're traveling down the trail, like okay, all's good. It was just getting to that checkpoint. So, of course, I was a little tired. I was like, all right, I'm going to lay down for like, I spent a lot of time with my dogs, just going through them, checking out.
Was that the 24 hour?
No. So this was just a regular layover.
Okay.
It would be up to me.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time going through the dogs' injuries, checking them out, being pretty thorough. And I knew there was 3 that were questionable. And out of that 3, I knew there was 1 that I needed to leave behind at that checkpoint.
Oh,
and,
wow.
So after I went through them, I was like, all right, I need to at least get like an hour of sleep. So I went and I laid down. And, of course, it's so cold that the propane heaters are froze up. So there was absolutely 0 heat. So I was like, this is stupid. And I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And then, like, other people were complaining, like, when's the heat? Like, what, And I'm like, yeah, no. I'm dipping.
Yeah.
And so I just got back on the trail and left. And
wide awake by then.
Made my way to Caltag. Yeah. And then we
1 dog less, though.
1 dog less. And then I dropped the other one there in Caltag. And then the other questionable one, I dropped it at the next checkpoint. So, I was, you always want to be like careful. You never want to like put them on the red line or anything like that, of course. So just when those like minor things start to show up and you start to see it, then like that's the time to drop a dog.
Shut them down.
Yeah. So there was a couple of things like I knew, like, okay, I can massage this out. This is a little sore shoulder or whatever. And then I walk them around before the checkpoint, before I leave the checkpoint. And
if they're not, if got
they're
a limp
limbered up,
okay.
It's like, okay, well, I put some liniment on and, massaged them and like, okay, we worked out that knot and like, they're good, and walk them around and they're not showing any signs and like, I'll take that dog. But if there's like a minor stiffness or something like that, then where it didn't seem like they'll work out of it, or if you have like a really long run coming up, it's not like a risk you're willing to take, because then that dog's got to go in the basket. And there's also the long-term effects, you know. You don't want to, you know,
yeah, because their health and well-being is always number one, right?
100%.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's you're never like just like focused on, oh, it's just this race, because, you know, we always have next year with them. These dogs race, you know, from the ages of 2 to, you know, up to 9.
So it's a long game approach with them, keep them healthy.
100%. You know, their health is, always comes first. And you got more dogs. And if you don't, there's more races.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's take a quick break.
Let's do it.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters and outdoor enthusiasts with the highest quality gear and equipment since they opened their doors in 1963. Barney's carries exclusive brands such as Alpaca Rafts, Sitka, Sims, Exo Mountain Gear, Hilleberg, and much more. Barney's prides themselves with keeping a huge stock on hand of various top-of-the-line tents, footwear, sleeping bags, optics, cross-country skis, just to name a few. Barney's is also the exclusive retailer of Montana knives, Seek Outside, Kafaru, Stone Glacier, and their in-house brand, Frontier Gear of Alaska. Barney's has a superior selection of top-rated boots, sleeping bags, dry bags, mountaineering gear, electronics, and accessories. Need freeze-dried food or mountain snacks? They got that too. Barney's now has an amazing new paperback catalog available for in-store pickup or online order. Visit them today at barneysports.com, or even better, stop by the store in Anchorage at 906 West Northern Lights. If you want the best, there's only one name in the game, Barney's Sports Chalet.
Alaska Mining and Diving Supply, located in Anchorage for 47 years, has expanded 3 stores. The main store, the largest Skidoo sled dealer in North America, also has Can-Am, Sea-Doo, Climb, Suzuki Outboards, Honda Outboards, generators and snowboards, Kingfisher boats, and so much more. Alaska Motorsports and Equipment just next door, which was previously Anchorage Suzuki Arctic Cat, for all your Arctic Cat, Suzuki ATV, Husqvarna, Generac, Mahindra Tractor, and now Argo Pro and Sasquatch needs. And to round it out, also next door, the brand new Alaska Mining Superstore, for the largest selection of recreational and light commercial mining equipment anywhere, period.
The Alaska chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. BHA is the voice of our Alaska public lands, waters, and wildlife. From national level policy work to engagement with boots on the ground projects from Kotzebue to Ketchikan. BHA performs public land cleanups, hunting and fishing clinics, and community education to help take your game to the next level. BHA's community-minded goal is to uphold our hunting and fishing legacy while keeping wildlands wild and fostering the next generation of sportsmen and women for years to come. Make sure to follow BHA Alaska for upcoming events, local brewery pint nights, and more. Stand up for Alaska public lands and waters by supporting the Alaska chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. Join us today at backcountryhunters.org.
The Treehouse AK, your one-stop dispensary located at 341 Boniface Parkway. When you pull up to the Treehouse, you'll notice the beautifully hand-drawn art by Alaska's own Ted Kim. Once you get inside, you're going to see many of the same people that have been there since they opened. The bud tenders know you and what you like and what new product you should be checking out. The store is super clean and the music's always on point. The Treehouse and local owner Josh Boots is a staple in the cannabis culture through his music, community givebacks, and a lifetime desire to bring the people of Alaska the best products available. The Treehouse always has at least 25 strains available, and they're all shown prominently deli style in clear, openable jars so you can see and smell your options. Other products include edibles, concentrates, vape carts, pre-rolls, flour, dab rigs, and anything else you need, they got it. They also have some pretty sick merchandise for sale. Check out thetreehouseak.com, or better yet, stop by the Treehouse today and get started on their loyalty program. Remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
Okay. Maybe not the ones that you're going to work with other dogs with. And
yeah, no, I think like the mushing community has a tremendous amount of great people in it, and I think for the most part we all get along and we're all buddies, and and of course, like, not everyone's cup of tea.
No, I mean that's naturally gonna in your competition.
And there's some that are a little competitive, so they're like nah.
Yeah. You mentioned something earlier on the 9-day.
We're not gonna be friends, bro.
Yeah, no. The 9-day thing, but it got me wondering because the Iditarod has been around for a long time, and it used to be like a 20-day race.
Yeah.
So obviously things have gotten better, equipment's gotten better, dog care's gotten better, strategy's probably gotten better. So do you think in your opinion, was it more difficult to run the race, 20 years ago when it was taking 20 days?
Dude, those guys were animals. So
I mean, if you go 2 hours of sleep, like just the sleep thing that you were mentioning, because this is still the same, like pace, right?
So back then, there wasn't, the trail wasn't anywhere, near what it is today. Like, so, we have guys that go out ahead of us and put in a dog trail,
like essentially groom it?
Some sections, not necessarily groom it. They leave the groomers, I think they take groomers all the way to Rainey Pass.
Oh, okay. That's
like down the gorge.
That's
all the
only
way
like the first quarter of the trail.
All the way to Roan. And then from there, it's like just snow machines. But there are certain villages and stuff where we travel through that are just highly trafficked, So, like, there's a lot of snow machine traffic. So, there's a established trail year round. Mm-hmm. There's some areas of the race that aren't, that have no village traffic.
Pretty just open country?
Yeah, it's just in the middle of nowhere. So, you'll have, like, the trail crew who's, like, a day ahead or something, going and punching in a trail. And maybe they were there, like, a month ago and try to establish a base, but usually you can factor in that like those sections of trail are going to be soft and slow and punchy.
Okay.
But so those guys, back in like the 70s, they no trail. They were only running during the day. They didn't have headlamps. Like, and the ones that they did have were like huge and whatever. So like they're pulling over, they're making a fire to melt their snow. And so there's like some of those, I guess, technology advancements, that have taken place. And then
everything just took so much longer.
Yeah. And then
do anything.
And then you got gear, and like these guys were hauling like freight sleds, with
heavy,
everything packed in them. Cause I mean, you needed everything,
Yeah.
I mean,
coffee percolator, lantern, just heavy, bulky stuff made of metal.
Yeah, nothing was light and compact back then.
Yeah, but do you now are able to put stuff at certain places in advance?
So now
where they didn't do that before.
Yeah, now they're well. They had checkpoints, but some of that was real limited, and they're hauling a lot of supplies and things like that. So now. All of our drop bags are flown out to, each individual checkpoint. All of our gear's there. So we're able to refuel, restock our sleds.
Air support makes it a lot easier than...
Versus carrying a 20 days worth.
Yeah. So, there's definitely, like, there's these kind of, I guess, I don't know. On one hand, they had it tough. For sure. And then on the other hand, like racing at that highly competitive, fast-paced level is extremely tough as well. And like we're still going through, the heart of the race. Like the trail's the same. We're still going through like some of the roughest and rugged terrain that
None of that's changed.
Alaska has to offer. And then you throw in a storm like...
Yeah, or a big blow with whiteout conditions, and
yeah, and then that's where it really gets tough, and like we ended up having that leaving White Mountain. A lot of veteran mushers said it was the worst that they ever seen it.
Whoa!
Through the hills, so like they were calling of wind up to 70 miles an hour.
Ooh.
And so that was quite the experience to drive a dog team through those hills. And with
at
the
night?
wind blowing like that. No, so it was daylight.
Okay.
And then, you know, going along the coast and making my way to Nome, like it was a ripping.
Oh, so that's toward the end of the race?
Yep. Yeah, leaving White Mountain. White Mountain's the last, well, it's basically the last checkpoint. There's safety. Safety's in between Nome and White Mountain, but no one ever really stops there unless it's kind of an emergency. It's 25 miles outside of Nome.
Oh, so might as well.
So yeah, you're on step and going.
Yeah, so you're just kind of grinding it out at that point. But yeah, leaving White Mountain, the wind was really picking up and really blowing, and you know, you're kind of on a side hill and you're going up and over these hills, and the wind's coming at a crosswind and it's blowing you down the mountain, and it's like it was really difficult to, you know, keep the sled upright and keep it tracking along up these hills without like pulling the dogs down with it. And of course, like it's throwing you around. Like when you get those big gusts, it's enough to, you know, lift up the sled and blow you off the trail. And so yeah, there was a few moments like that. And then once you drop down out of the hills and now you're out along the coast and the sea ice and all, it was ripping down there too. But I don't know.
How much is it across the water?
I don't know the exact mileage,
But a guesstimate.
that you go across the sea ice. So I think leaving Shaktoolik, you go across the sea ice. I think on the way to Nome, you know, there's some sections as well. A lot of it's at night. I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's just white snow and ice.
Yeah.
But does it eventually now, like, because, you know, the way things are going, will it one day maybe not be frozen? And they're going to have to, like, move the trail?
I don't know. It'd have to be. I guess we had global warming. We'll have to kick it up a few notches.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because that late into the winter,
But
everything's rock solid.
yeah, and I mean, there's certain things like, you know, certain storms and wind and things like that can really move like the tide in and you know, affect the trail and cause these overflows or you know, what have you. So there is an overland trail that they have taken in the past, you know, on certain years when they need to.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if it'll ever consistently go to an overland trail because like things just aren't freezing up.
Yeah.
There just might not be a race, you know. I mean, if like,
Oh, right.
you know,
Yeah.
If it's getting to that point, it might be other issues.
yeah, going across the, you know, the sound there and all that, like if that's not frozen, then I guess a lot of other shit ain't going to be you know, the Yukon River probably not frozen and,
Sure.
Yeah.
you know, so on. So,
What would you say, in your opinion, is the sketchiest part of the trail and why?
you know, you can definitely see where the gorge, so the Dalzell Gorge is in the heart of the Alaska Range. And so that's where you crest over and you're starting to make your way down. And you're like in this ravine, and it's kind of a windy, steep descent. And then when you're at the bottom, there's a lot of these creek crossings. And there's a lot of man-made bridges with open water under them.
Oh.
And they're narrow and they're around turns. And like one time, it was such kind of a weird angle and sharp turn, and like we almost went off. Like my sled almost didn't hit the bridge. You know, if like I had to like jump
the dog's
off.
got to cross. But
I had to jump off and like swing it around onto the bridge. I was like, holy shit, about to go. You know, and of course, like
Just
it's
race
shallow,
over.
it's shallow water. You know, but
be a bitch to get it up out of there, though.
But yeah,
Right?
going through that, I was lucky enough to have like good snow conditions where I had good traction. I was able to brake, things like that.
Okay.
But there's been years where it's like straight gravel and ice and
Oh,
like,
there's not a lot of snow in there.
yeah, and guys are just like, I mean, it's like a fucking death adventure. You know, white knuckle. They're on X Games mode. And
Yeah.
you know, the next checkpoint's Roan, and like I think it was 2014 was the year, and like I forget how many mushers came to that checkpoint with like just smashed up sleds, broken bones.
Oh shit!
Just ended up scratching out of the race right there, and not able to continue.
The old Dalzell kicked their ass.
Yeah, and then there's the steps.
Old Brooks Range, right?
The
She'll do that to you.
The Happy River steps. There's some really steep, drop offs and stuff.
I wanted to ask you about that.
Happy River Steps.
I've seen footage where, the team crests a hill and they come bombing down, and the musher's just on the back, just trying to control the chaos of that shit coming down.
Yeah, and you're on the brake heavy, and
okay, so there's a brake.
Yep, there's a brake bar that with like 2 claws that dig into the snow and try to stop the sled. And
it's more of a controlled slide, though.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then verbal commands, and they'll back off like a goodly dog, like you can tell them, whoa, easy, things like that. And they back off, and they won't be like full steam ahead down the mountain.
Yeah. They get the momentum going too fast.
Yep.
You get some air in that thing sometimes?
Yeah. Yeah. You can catch some air.
That's probably when it really wakes you up. Whoa, hey.
Yeah. The crazy thing is like you start to hallucinate too.
Oh, yeah.
And so you start seeing shit, and then like you'll fall asleep, you'll nod off at like these strange times. Like I was going down this, I think I was on my way to Shagaluk, and there's some really kind of rolling hills, like in some real steep descents. And it's a really narrow trail. It's just as wide as a dog sled, Oh, wow. As wide as a snow machine. And I remember falling asleep, like hauling ass down this mountain. And like I wake up and I'm like, I'm standing up and I'm holding on to the handlebars, and, I open my eyes and I'm like, oh, fuck. And I'm just like hauling ass, barreling down this hill, like my foot ain't on the brake or nothing,
Oh, yeah, I'm racing. That's right.
Yeah. And then you wake up and you're like, okay, like that's enough of that shit. And so I don't know. Yeah, there's those moments. But I guess like back to your question, I guess those 2 kind of like historic parts of the trail, the gorge, the Happy River steps, things like that. Those are really, those could be sketchy, especially if conditions weren't great. But I think like the toughest part of the race is the coast. And people think of like the coast as this flat, just going across sea ice, things like that. Like, no,
it's moving.
It's fucking hilly. Like there's mountains, and there's a lot of hills to climb.
Wow.
And you're that deep into the race, you're tired, physically, beaten. And then plus, you have a dog team that just traveled 800 miles, 900 miles, whatever.
Yeah.
You're making your way to this 1,000-mile finish. And so, and then plus you always get hit with that end of the race storm. It happens a lot. And so you got to have like your ducks in a row, like your dog care has to be top notch, and you got to like get to the coast with a healthy dog team, or else like you're going to have a rough go.
Yeah.
Kind of like the home stretch.
Yeah. Yep,
okay.
It is the home stretch. So that kind of starts in Unacleat. And
is that where you kind of get the most nervous?
No. I don't know if I really had like a bunch of like nervous feelings on the race.
Or anxious or
But there's definitely, I guess there's a lot of anxiousness. Like every run is like, okay, 10 more miles, 5 more miles, and it's just like you've been on the.
You're so just happy when it's.
And then like, some of these places are just so remote, like the gold town of like Iditarod. I mean, it's just out in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Yeah.
And you're traveling along for a while to get there, and you're just like, all of a sudden you drop down on this little river, and you start to see some old abandoned shacks and houses, and where they were mining gold and equipment, and like
And that's it.
There's people. Like, there's people that are running the check, and it's like, it just popped out of nowhere for, fucking miles and miles and miles. You just went without seeing any sign of humans, know?
And boom.
And then boom, it's just like pops up. And then it's kind of nice when you start getting close to like villages, you'll see like a little fish camp or something like that. You get like 20 miles
There's
out.
life here.
10 miles out, you start to see like some human structures, some evidence of like, okay, there's life around here. And you're like, okay, I got to be getting close. But sometimes it plays tricks on you too. Like, you think you're close, and then
it's a ghost town.
You'll go on for like another 40 miles, and you're like, oh my God.
I thought there'd be something here. That's just amazing. Just when you tell the story, I'm imagining just the vast nothingness that is.
It's incredible.
Like the just stone cold wilderness of Alaska in the middle of winter, man.
Like, you leave.
You don't want to fall off your sled, man. Like, they take off, man. There's wolves and critters and shit out there, man. Like,
yeah, Mother Nature's no joke. I think you definitely need to be a well-prepared person, if you're going to run Iditarod.
You got a wolf story?
I've encountered wolves on the trail, especially in Nenana. There's 3 wolf packs that come through,
gonna patrol that area,
that cycle through there, at different times. So when I was there, I saw a lot of wolf traffic. On Iditarod, I did not see any wolves. I saw some foxes that traveled with us for a while.
Oh, ran by with you guys?
Yeah, running alongside the team.
Yeah, that's
off
cool.
in the distance, out on the river. And but yeah, I didn't see too many critters out there. I guess luckily, because
that's a good thing. You don't run into a moose or anything aggressive.
No buffaloes or anything like that.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then there's some wild horses at Rainey Pass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they can get, they usually do a pretty good job at keeping them away.
They do, as in people?
Yeah, I think volunteers.
Those guys that kind of run that trail and
the checkpoint and stuff. Yeah, I think that, I don't know what quite they do, but the one year usually I think
because they're aggressive, aren't they? The wild horses.
Well, they can be. One year we did the Gold Trail Loop, and so it was during the COVID year, and it went out to Iditarod, and then came back all the way to Willow. So it started in Willow, went all the way out to Iditarod, which is interior Alaska, and then back. And so those wild horses wanted the straw from the dogs, all the bedding, and they were trying to get to that. And then so as dog teams were leaving, I think they were starting to get a little more brave and to come in, and so yeah. And I think there was one team or maybe 2 or something that had, an encounter, but everything ended up being fine. But yeah, they can get
a little territorial
for sure. Same with the moose, but low snow years, it's never a problem.
Are those horses all furry, long hair?
I haven't seen them. I think they were obviously brought there by man.
For sure, yeah.
Many
moons ago.
Yeah, and then they've been kind of roaming around, and I think that lodge does some kind of horseback trips and stuff as well. So I don't know if they just kind of let them roam free and wild around there or what, but
that's crazy.
Well, I know there is.
I don't quite know all the details.
There's some in Kodiak, right? Wild horses.
Yeah, and they're definitely they look rugged and wild.
Picture real quick.
They have I have a photo. I have to dig it up, but they have long weird patches on their side behind their front legs, and the hair over their eyes is longer. Because they're not taken care of.
Yeah.
And the guy I went with, his pit bull that hunted with us, really, really, really well-mannered dog, but he went and got a little too close to those, and they tried to stomp the shit out of him. Like, he ran away, and they kept coming after him. Mm-hmm. So they weren't like spooked him away. They went full attack.
Yeah.
To the point where the dog was like, oh, shit, and had to run away. I was surprised at how aggressive they were.
They look like regular horses.
Yeah.
Just wild horses right there. See, I thought they'd look like this one. That's all like furry or longer.
Yeah, that's
hair.
kind of what I remember from the ones
It might
in
be like
Kodiak.
some Russian stuff. Russians. It's the Russians. How do you keep track of like the miles and all? Is it you got like a watch or is it like you have an app? You have the GPS right on the.
I got a little handlebar GPS, a little Garmin.
Okay, just like a little screen one.
Yep, and so that helps me keep track. And then I got a little log book, that I guess I study the mileage between each checkpoint.
Okay, so this is whatever. This is 18 miles, and about this point at this river is 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So when I get to a checkpoint, I'm like, okay, it's going to be a 50-mile run to Shaktoolik and, whatever. And then from there, it's going to be another, 56 miles or what have you, depending on where I'm at in the race.
You got an inReach?
I don't.
Do you communicate with anyone in between?
No. That was
is it not allowed or
no? They ended up making it legal to have two-way communication. Mm-hmm. And there was like I guess a part of me where I'm like it could have been nice to have an inReach like when I lost my dog team or
I mean
it can also
just for
be
that really
like
emergency situation.
It could be nice to have an inReach like throughout the race.
What about when you're just practicing?
No,
you don't carry one.
Mm-mm. There's a lot of guys I was talking like after the race, to some other veteran mushers, and I was like, man, I was sitting there and I was like, dog team looks good and like we're traveling along good, but like I didn't think we were doing that great or like there wasn't anything that special there, And then you pull into a checkpoint and you're looking at the other teams around you and, those things can be like deceiving, maybe you got a real rambunctious team. You're like, oh man, that team looks like really fired up and like, and they're ahead of you. So you're kind of like, oh, okay. I need to like just kind of really maintain here. Maybe not, but then you go back like after the race and you look at run times and you're like, I had the exact same run time as like the top 3 guys into this checkpoint. And then like in my head, I was like, like we're doing good, but nothing special. Like, and so like I was talking to a veteran musher and he would be like, yeah, that's why I like having like my inReach and I can check in and be like, hey, what's their run time? What's my run time? Okay.
Oh, they're using it for like to gather info.
Strategic.
And it's like, okay, I'm doing good, because you can get like a little like
updates from around.
Yeah, and then, if you're not really feeling like that you're doing...
Oh, maybe it's a little discouraging.
Yeah, you can get a little discouraged, where you're keeping your foot off the pedal a little bit, and you're like, I'll just, fuck it, I'll take 20 more minutes here. Like, it's not really that big of a deal, like...
When little do you know, it's like...
These guys...
Neck and neck.
Yeah, like, these guys are, like... They're looking really good. Like, I'm not going to be competing with them, I'm kind of going to be more maybe competing for 5th or, but, like, really you're on, like, the same speed and track as them. And so there was a part of me, like, after the race. But I don't know. There's also another part that's, like...
Keep it all natural?
Yeah. I think I'll
just
stick
you and
to
the
that.
dogs?
Just me, the dogs, read them, and... go off of that.
Yeah, both ways.
There's pros and cons.
You respect both ways, but I dig where you're coming from because you want to do it where you're fully in tune with your team.
Yeah, I don't want to have
any outside.
Yeah, I don't want to have outside assistance. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the thing. So, yeah, I'd just rather be true to my abilities and like.
It might not hurt though to meet in the middle in a compromise to carry one off, and in the event you need it, you could always turn it on in case you can't. Get back to your dogs.
Yeah, and
or something, or you're training. I mean, there's just a lot of different things,
and it's helped people out for sure. I mean, and there's people that have gotten like psychologically, kind of defeated on the race, and they've like called home or called their mentors and
press the button.
They're like, they're thinking about pressing that button,
just bring in the chopper and just get us out of here.
And these are like guys that have, they're in the top placing, like they're going, they're racing for the win, and they're like, I don't know, man, like, and they're at the end of the race, and it's helped them where they made that call, and they're like, you get your fucking ass out there, like, there's no quitting, do what you got to do,
sure,
and and it's gotten those people to the finish line, and with the trophy, so because it gets tough out there.
I bet.
It really does. Like you're pushing yourself to the limits.
Well, you talk about the physical game, the lack of sleep and the rest and focus, but I feel like at that end stretch, you talk about the coast or some of those more challenging areas. It's all mind over matter at that point, right?
Big time, because you're gonna have a lot of adversity out there. And then, I guess just try to imagine, a situation where maybe things aren't going that well. Maybe you had kind of an off run, dogs look a little flat or something. And
you fall off your sled.
You're out there looking like a dumbass.
Hey, you said it, not me.
And it's 35 below.
Yeah, dude.
And you're tired and you haven't slept, and all you want is some warmth and some food. And
it's easy to just want to give up.
Hungry. And so it's just kind of, it's really easy to start feeling sorry for yourself. And then once you start feeling sorry for yourself,
it's the beginning of the end.
It's fucking game over, So, it's like, oh, I'm just really tired. And, I had this really shitty run. And like, so like I deserve a rest or, like I'm going to stay another hour, but I don't know. For me, it's just always like, just keep grinding it out, keep pushing forward. And then, I just keep telling myself like, it'll get better on the next run. Like we'll get it together on the next run. And then sometimes that doesn't happen. I'm like, we'll get it together on you got to be a little stupid out there.
Yeah,
sure.
And then,
sounds like my diet. Yeah. I want to start Monday.
So you just kind of go like full Neanderthal mode. And just keep pushing it out because it's those storms come, the wind comes, and it gets tough. Man. And you're out there and you're in 70-mile-an-hour winds, and you can't even your fucking face is all frostbite. Like my skin was all peeling off. And
oh, really?
Yeah, and you're cold and you can't keep your sled up, and you're doing everything you can to fight it, and it's really easy to be like, man, that shelter cabin looks like really, this is just bad. This is really bad. Like, I need to pull over into that shelter cabin. And, and sometimes, it might be needed. No knock on anyone that does that. Because they're making the best decisions for themselves and for their dog team. But it is easy to like get in that mindset, like,
sure.
Yeah.
When it's not necessary, I guess.
You have a favorite, I'll ask Brandon first. Like when you think about like all of Iditarod, as you've been here your whole life, is there like when they say Iditarod, is there one musher that you think of right away? Like maybe one that's like stand out, like, oh, this was the one from the era.
I always was a big fan of Susan Butcher.
That's what I was gonna say. That's funny.
And the other gal, she was wearing makeup and stuff.
Dee
Dee.
Jonroe.
Yeah.
She never won though, right?
No. She got second.
Okay, but Susan Butcher was the one I was thinking. In my mind, that was like,
yeah. I mean, there's A lot of great racers. I just was always thrown back at the women that chose to run the race, and not because just they're women. It's just it's such an extreme undertaking for anybody, and the fact that there are as many women that have done it.
Was she the
to me
first
was
one to
always
win?
amazing.
Libby Riddles was the first woman to win it, and then Susan, she ran 4, or won 4, excuse me. So 4 before Dallas Seavey, and there's kind of an asterisk on that. Dallas Seavey has won 5 Iditarods, but only 4 of them have finished in Nome. The 5th one was an altered route, but it was still Iditarod. It was still the best mushers. Yeah. Still a tough course.
Yeah, wherever the finish line is, if you made it there, you won it.
But
Why was that?
He won it. That was
COVID?
the COVID year. Yeah.
Oh, they switched the route around?
Yeah, so they didn't want, due to COVID, they didn't want the traffic through the village. So they ran out to that old abandoned gold town of Iditarod.
Oh, okay.
And circled through there and looped back all the way to Willow. So
there and back. Okay.
And everybody stood 6 feet away from each other?
I guess.
Is there one that stands out for you? Is there one that you're like, oh man, this dude was the baddest, or lady?
Like you guys said, there's a lot of greats. You go back. I mean, there's a lot of good dog men and women that have raced throughout the history of Iditarod. And of course, Susan Butcher's one of the greats. Big innovator in the sport as well. Did a lot for the sport. You have Rick Swenson.
Oh, hell yeah.
Who is also a well, hold on, is it Rick that's I think Dallas tied Rick Swenson at 5 for the most winning musher of all time.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's 5 that Rick has. But either if it's 4 or 5, for some reason I'm drawing a blank here. But Rick Swenson, a big innovator of the sport.
When you say innovator, what exactly did they
you're talking about dog care, dog
Okay.
nutrition, the technology advancement.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as sled designs, supplements, dog care, the veterinary side of it all. They just gear in itself, the nutritional information. They did a lot of studies with a lot of universities and different kibble manufacturers.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, they did a lot
Going
of...
way behind the scenes.
Yep. They did a lot of high-level testing and things like that to improve dog care and, what do these dogs really need, and what do they need to perform at their best, and, how can we make this sled go faster, and, redesigning harnesses and gang lines and all that kind of stuff,
Even probably the style of rope.
Yep,
What it's
exactly.
made out of.
Just a million ways to make things a little better and tweak stuff, right?
Yeah, down to the smallest things, the smallest details. So, Rick was really big on that. He's played a big role in that. Dallas Seavey has been I guess the new generation of a Rick Swenson. He's done a lot for the sport as far as innovating.
Martin Boozer, would he be kind of in that Rick Swenson
category? I mean, Martin's a 4-time champ.
Yeah.
Incredible dog man.
Martin.
Yeah, he's done a lot for the sport as well. So you start going down those lists of Rick Swenson, Susan Butcher, Lance Mackey, Martin Boozer, Jeff King, Doug Swingley.
Swingley, yep.
So there's all those 4-time champions right there.
Is that the Mount Rushmore? Those 4?
Yeah, I mean that would probably be a lot of people's. Yeah. I mean those guys were
top.
They were the baddest.
And that was back when it was.
And it was highly
18 days, 20 days.
Yeah, so the 90s, those were I think, 10-day races, 9-day races. It was kind of the speed era in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
So like
that was like the Martin Boozer,
Martin
Susan
Boozer.
Butcher.
So Susan was in the 80s. Rick, Susan, they battled it out through the 80s.
Okay.
And up to the early 90s. I think 1990 or 91.
That would have been Martin Boozer time.
I think Rick won his, or Susan won his, they won their final championship right there in the early 90s.
Okay.
I believe Rick did. And then from there, it took over between Jeff King, Martin Boozer, Doug Swingley. And then so you had that era. And those guys went back and forth of winning, they won 4 championships through those 90s to early 2000s. Then you had a couple Norwegians come into play, Robert Sorley and a few others. And then you had the Mackey era.
Yeah, that was 2000.
So
Yeah.
Lance came in. I think Lance won his first in like 2007.
He passed away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
Rest in
last
peace.
year. And after the Lance era, then it became like the Seavey era.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2012, I believe Dallas won his first championship.
Well, and Mackey set records like year after year after year, didn't he?
So
If I remember right, there was like some standout things that he did.
No, for sure.
specifically year after year.
He won. He won 2. What? He won the Yukon Quest and the Iditarod 2 years in a row.
Both of them.
Both of them. So, which was like unheard of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made a lot of
Him and
incredible
his dogs were dialed in to do something like that.
incredible accomplishments, and they come back from cancer and
Yeah.
all of his health issues and things like that. So he overcame a lot of adversity and kicked ass for 4 years straight.
He was he won an ESPY award
Yeah, he did. He
one
was on that.
summer. I remember watching that, and I don't watch those very often, but I remember watching it and saw him, seen him get a what do you call it? Acknowledgement.
Yep.
An ESPY award for it, and I just thought how cool was that they picked a championship dog musher.
Yeah.
When
I think he
you-
was named like Athlete of the Year.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we're
right.
talking like, with LeBron and some of the highest profile athletes in the planet
Yep.
awards. And here's a Alaskan dude, survived cancer, racing dogs in Alaska, right on that pedestal with them. It was pretty cool, man. As an Alaskan, it made me proud.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he's like the last musher to really make it on a national stage.
I was just going to wonder about that. They don't show like the highlights on ESPN.
I think he's the last guy to like do the Conan O'Brien show and things like that,
Yeah.
Before, like, I know other mushers have in the past have gone on to like those late night talk shows.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
but
They made like national,
But, like, he's the last musher to really get national coverage.
Till now you're worldwide, dog.
Shit. Not yet.
AWP.
it's coming, Eddie B.
I got to win this race first.
Sure you get that hair looking right.
Get
Get
the
it
hair
on.
just
Get it oiled up. Get the curls luscious.
red dog up there.
Get the
just,
beaver caster in there.
Extra smelly.
You can smell this smoke from 5 miles away.
Do they do any drug testing for the mushers or the dogs?
They do. That's
question.
That's one of the things
USADA's coming up.
through basically the dogs get drug tested throughout multiple periods of the race. So, your dog team's probably going to get drug tested at least probably 2 to 3 times throughout the race.
Wow. Someone been caught cheating?
There has been one scandal. I guess they called it. I they don't really know if it was sabotage or what. It was after the race. There's a drug test after the race in Nome, and there was different speculation. There was never a clear report on what actually happened, but there was speculation of maybe a handler could have given the dogs meds after the race. It was for tramadol, so nothing that would be like a huge performance enhancing.
Didn't make or break the race.
Yeah, so I mean, it would just be more of a muscle relaxer, kind of
for dogs.
Yeah.
What about for the mushers? Do they test them for performance enhancing? Like,
yep. So the mushers
really?
get drug tested as well.
For that, what about like recreational stuff?
Yep.
All that?
No, that's what it's for.
Okay, not necessarily for testosterone
TRT.
boosted.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like make sure this guy's not cracked out on the trail.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. No.
Is marijuana okay?
No,
Really?
it's not.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
That's ridiculous.
So I got
playing field.
I got drug tested in White Mountain. So that's the last checkpoint. So I pulled into there, and they're like,
That's got to be annoying, though, huh? You're trying to rub your dog's shoulder out, and they're like, "Hey, man, compete in a cup." You're like, "You fucking kidding me?"
So yeah, after I finished up all my dog chores, I walked in because I thought maybe you got tested in Nome, after the finish or something,
Make sure you weren't taking any nos.
So I go into the checkpoint into the building there, and I walk in, and this is after I finish my routine with my dogs, and I'm trying to get some food and get some rest before, I got to go pull the hook and, do the final stretch. And there's a girl in there. She works for Capstone or whatever, one of those kind of clinics, She's like, "Hey, when you can, pee in this cup. You got to do it before you leave." And I'm like, "Oh, shit. I don't really got to pee right now, but okay. Yeah. I guess maybe after my nap or whatever." And then that's something you got to do before you leave that checkpoint.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just crossed my mind about when I were talking about the Russian. Is there like sled dogs? I would think that's such a big winter place. Is there a culture of racing sled dogs there? Do you know?
There is in throughout Europe, Northern Europe.
It's a Nordic sport.
Mushing is huge in Norway.
Yeah. Is it going to be in the Olympics soon?
Yeah.
I got all kind of weird things up in the Olympics.
Oh my God, dog mushing would be sick.
They should.
I feel like that should definitely.
I think there's a lot of cool things that they could do with the sport to get it more on a national level, worldwide level, But yeah, it'd be cool if it continues to grow, That's something that I'd like to see.
Well, there's a draw to our races here in Alaska for international teams, right?
Yeah, so I mean, we get teams that travel all around the world to come up here and compete, for sure.
Any Russian teams?
Dude, you like Russians, huh?
I love Russians.
No, I don't think any Russians.
Is it far-fetched for an American team to go outside?
So, Dallas is one that tried that. There's the Finnmark, and it's the biggest race over there in Norway. And Dallas traveled over there. I think he got third. And second or something like that. But it's a little bit different of a race, and I think it presents its own unique challenges. But yeah, but you definitely get a lot of Norwegians that come over here.
Yeah.
And compete in Iditarod, and they've had a lot of success.
Man, what does that entail?
I mean, just think how hard it is to travel with your family.
Yeah, so imagine packing up. I and a lot of them have they do it right. They get over here a month or 2 months, or they spend the entire winter over here. They They get their visas in line and they do whatever they have to do, and they have a established place here that they're going to
connect with another kennel maybe or something,
and that they're going to go and train out of, and they get it all dialed in.
Yeah, it's not just coming over here for 2 weeks and then going back to Norway with your 20 dogs.
Exactly, and so you got to get used to training over here and weather and temps and trails and what have you. So they.
Yeah, because you talk about that schedule from September to race schedule, and you can't just like fly everybody over from Norway and jump on a trail a week later and race. I mean, I guess you could, but
it's kind of a it's a slow process, and then if you got flight cancellations or this or that.
Sure, yeah. It's a long way to go.
It's a long way to go. It's a long ways to fly with dogs.
I just think about like when you're gonna go check in and you got 18 dogs. Like, how does that even work? How does that even look like?
Like flying to Bethel is hard enough.
Oh yeah.
Just like
don't they put you on a mail plane or something?
Yeah. So they fly on Northern Air Cargo.
Okay.
Okay.
And they were a sponsor of mine last year, and took care of all of our shipping.
Mac Air.
Yep. So if anybody needs anything shipped out to rural Alaska, NAC's the way to go.
Like an old Sno-go?
Yeah.
Done that before.
Yeah, those are hot commodities.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, they ship them out on NAC in those cargo planes, and then we fly Alaska Air out there. But you got to get them all loaded up into the boxes, and get them all on the cargo pallets and netted down, and then you're trying to basically beat them there or meet them there, and then you got to get them out of their boxes and let them go stretch out and go pee.
Yeah, it's got to be a little stressful.
So like it's kind of a race, and then you're like trying to set up a little mini dog yard, so you're like getting out the picket lines and you're setting all this shit up, and it's nighttime, and usually it's fucking
cold
wind
as
blowing.
shit.
Yeah. And like you don't have really any of your gear or nothing, so it's always kind of a scramble as soon as like you touch down and like another village or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but I always enjoy traveling out to those races, like Cusco, Kobuk. They're pretty cool.
Do you have one of those trucks with all the kennels in there?
We were just talking about that.
What do they call that?
Dog truck.
Okay.
Yeah. So I ended up not going the dog truck route, but
just a U-Haul.
Go run one of those bad boys.
Just straw all over it.
It's got the aerodynamic skirt for fuel efficiency.
It's got that little meter in there. You got to keep it in the red.
just flying out the back.
My favorite videos are like those guys that do those LS swaps out of the U-Hauls.
They do the what?
They go and they rent U-Hauls, and then they like fucking jack the motor out of there.
Oh, really? No,
yeah, and they go like put them in their hot rods.
Oh, really?
Because they all got those 6.0s.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Where are you watching this?
LS swap out of a U-Haul truck.
Dude, that's a deep rabbit hole on YouTube. You get to that.
No, this is on Instagram. I guess
this is Jimmy out here, son. I'm going to show you boys how to put this 6.0 from this here U-Haul.
Got this El Camino.
Blown 6.0.
Don't worry, I got the insurance.
I don't know what happened to it.
It blew up.
But yeah.
So what'd you go with instead? Just the old truck?
I got a 27-foot enclosed trailer.
Okay.
And then I put 20. I'm building them right now, and I got 20 dog boxes built that I'm sticking inside.
Oh, okay.
And so they each got their own little dog box, and then along the sides of the trailer, you put these little like drop chains, these little D rings, and you hook your drop chains, and then they can kind of run around free, secure to the trailer. So that's like the setup that I ended up going with.
I'm stoked to see it when it's done because you got a beautiful truck, sponsorship, you got the whole thing going, you get the trailer behind it. Like you're gonna be.
It should be styling.
Looking good. Yeah,
it should be styling.
You got a logo?
Yeah. So I'll have a logo put on there, and then of course with like all the sponsors and everything.
Is it on your Insta? Your new Off the Rails?
I don't have anything on there. If you go, there's a website actually.
Okay, what is it?
Off the Rails Racing. My sister made it. So
that's right. You guys work with a local guy here in town to do that?
No.
Went outside?
Right there.
Off the Rails Racing. It should just usually comes right on up.
Off the Rails Racing.com.
All my Facebook stuff comes right up.
Yeah.
Just type it into the webpage, it'll. But Candace, she made the website. The logo I had.
It's not secure. Nothing secure in this place.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi here it's pretty selective on what you're allowed to pull up.
That sucks.
But if you go to my Facebook, the logo's on there.
Is it on the Insta?
No, I gotta get it on.
Get your game up.
Yeah, I'm slacking.
This internet.
You were when I was on Instagram for a very brief time. You were really active on there.
Yeah, I mean, I post on there just some pictures here and there, but I haven't really promoted like the kennel or that stuff too much.
Is it mainly because probably time? Because I know Daniel, freaking bless his heart, and the time he puts into our social media, like it's a fucking full-time job.
It really is.
But also, are you kind of reserving a little for getting everything up and running?
The what?
There's the hoodie. My daughter.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, I kind of saw like your guys' prototype.
Yeah, so my buddy,
it's sick.
My paisan, Lucas Angelotti, they own, his family owns Originales downtown.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, man, I go to that place every week.
Yeah.
I love it. I work right downtown.
Fucking amazing.
God damn great sandwiches.
And Sergio and Rosalie, they are top notch.
The place is so bomb.
Incredible.
If you haven't been there, a lot of people don't know about it. It's just such a slow key.
Yeah,
it is.
Little
they
place.
Don't advertise
it's on D. No. It's on D Street, which is like one block.
4th and D.
Yeah, Originales. It's so good, man.
Do you know why they moved from the spot in Metro?
Yeah, their lease was up, and the owner
just
there.
A little bit easier to find them there, I guess.
No, for sure. I mean, I think that was like a little more convenient of a location. But they had to do what they had to do, and they found that spot downtown. And at the time, that was
I just walked by it the other day. It's beautiful. I didn't realize they were down there, and we should go get some freaking lunch down there.
We should.
I go ahead.
They got beer, they got wine.
Hell yeah!
They do the takeout, the pizzas, which is like an really old Roman, like rustic style pizza that you can take home and bake.
They still got an Eddie Burke in there.
The paisan.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Paisan.
No way. Really?
Yeah, that's named after my dad.
I didn't know that. I always get the Godfather.
But that was actually like the creation that I made, and then my dad always got it, and then
okay.
Yeah.
There's not just one Eddie Burke that influenced the sandwich.
No.
Okay.
It's teamwork.
Dude, you got to go early too, man. I go I'll go to lunch at 1:30. They'd be out of stuff, dude. Like it'd be cracking.
Oh, because they have fresh fixins every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So like that's one of the other. We're way off topic, but
it's still kind of Alaskan.
Like Rosalie, she makes the focaccia bread fresh every day. There's always a fresh soup.
They're slicing the meat right off the thing.
Oh hell yeah,
the cheese.
Sergio's hard at it, man. He works at that meat saw like no other.
They're like the Italian,
like a real Italian
family, like in a movie where you just know they're there every day with the apron on, putting in the work, never a day off. It just
Yeah.
100% committed.
3 a.m. is
Like,
when they
really?
they
To get the
run.
bread going
Yeah.
and everything?
Yeah, and that's why like they have the hours that they do. You know, like
Yeah,
people
they're
are
like open like 11 to 2.
People are like, hire more, whatever, and
Yeah.
they're just like, no, we're gonna do it ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
So they get in there 3 a.m., make the focaccia, make a fresh dessert for the day, make a fresh soup,
Yeah.
and then they have all those imported,
Sauces, all the stuff that
the
goes.
imported meat and cheeses
Oh,
and
man,
everything
yeah.
like that. So it's all from Italy, just top quality, really good food.
Yeah, imagine if they did a food truck or something. I mean, it would just be insane, but they don't want all that.
It
No.
reminds me a lot of like some New York shit. You know what I mean? Where you have the deli.
That's what
you
I
know
meant by
Like,
that. Like, they're in there with the apron and like they just every day at it
Yeah.
at their craft.
Yep, family run. No, they're
been
they're
a
great
long time
people.
since I've
So
been there.
if anybody's listening, they need a good Italian sandwich.
Yeah, it's bomb. So who are we looking at here in this picture?
That's Kavik jumping, and then that's Loki.
Havoc, I love that.
That's Loki next to him.
So when you go with that, we're looking at people that are just listening to a picture of the dogs tied up to the wheeler, to the ATV there in Willow.
Looks like
I think I
National
saw
Parks.
you. I know there's got to be a lot of other probably dog mushing people in the area because I've been going there a lot recently,
Yeah.
looking
Oh
at
shit!
lots of
Isn't
stuff.
Willow almost like the mushing capital of South Central?
There's a lot of dog mushers there. There's been several that have retired here lately and moved out of the neighborhood or got
okay.
out of dogs. But there's still a lot of dog teams in the area.
I thought I saw you
You
the
might
other
have.
day.
I'm on the trail every day.
Will you go on that main road sometimes, right on the left side? Thought
Yeah.
I saw you there by the. I could have swore it was
By the
you.
gas stations,
Yeah,
town
yeah.
site, and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm one of the very few people that run that stretch.
Okay, so it was you.
Probably.
That's awesome. So when you go like on a normal run, I think I asked you this before, but I'm curious on the water deal. Like when you're doing these big long runs, do they just have to drink between the checkpoints or between they drink before and afterwards, or are you like stopping at a
So if
somewhere
I'm
there's
doing
water?
if I'm doing this kind of changes. This kind of depends. So like one example would be like the Kinnick 200. It's a 200-mile race. So you have a 100-mile run, a 6-hour break, and then another 100-mile run. Some people decide to like stop and take a break and break those 100-mile runs up, but like the competitive guys, they run them nonstop. So like on a 200-mile race, I'll be giving my dogs snacks, like meat snacks. And
Okay.
in meat's 80% moisture.
Okay, they're getting the water there.
So on like a short run like that, you can go without watering them because they're getting plenty of moisture from the meat. And then I also make like kind of a water snack, which is mostly water with a little bit of like bloody meat, and then I freeze it up and then I slice it all up.
So it's almost like a meaty ice cube.
Yeah, so I give him like these little, like kind of, I don't know, they're probably like 6 ounce, 4 ounce little strips of ice and meat mixed together. And there's a good amount of water in there, I guess. So yeah, probably like 6 ounces of water, and I'll give them that like in the middle of those 100-mile runs.
Got it.
And it'll be incredible. Like you'll be going down the trail and they'll just be pissing clear. Like running down the trail and just pissing.
So they can. That was another question.
They
I
will
had.
wait. They'll pee while they're running.
Yeah.
Oh,
They shit while they run too.
What about you?
Yeah, I'll just stand
turn
off to the
around
side.
and-
You got to be careful though with the wind. You start blow on you. But
I feel like I just envision this move where you have these two like carabiners on your side, and you like turn around. And now you're facing backward. The dog team's behind you. Just click, click. There you go. Boom. Just hold you.
fighting through all your gear.
Oh
to
God,
get it
yeah.
out.
Trying to get your jack.
You're taking it. Yeah. It's and then sometimes you got to go number 2 on the trail.
Oh, I'm sure.
Let's get into the details of that after
do
this
you?
break.
Okay.
Okay.
Big Ray's, the Alaskan Outfitter, committed to outfitting Alaskans across the state since 1947. Whether you're a recreator, parent, guide, or corporate buyer, Big Ray's has the gear you need tailored for Alaska's harsh conditions. At Big Ray's, you'll find brands like Carhartt, Grundens, Darn Tough, FXD, Okiwear, and more. Big Ray's is your one-stop shop for both outdoor gear and rugged work attire. Check out their new exclusive line of durable but affordable waders, inspired by and named after the majestic Aralak River in remote western Alaska. The Aralak wader was designed by Alaskans and proven for the diverse waters of the last frontier. Visit Big Ray's at any of their 5 locations statewide, 2 in Anchorage, 2 in Fairbanks, 1 in Kodiak, or check them out online at bigrays.com.
Tailored Restoration, helping Alaskans turn disasters into new beginnings since 1972. Their 24-hour services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, and repairs. Tailored built its reputation with years of committed and reliable service to the community with innovative restoration and home remodeling. When you have an unexpected home issue at the most improbable time, Tailored has an emergency response number with trained professionals available to help you anytime, day or night. Tailored Restoration has locations to serve you in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Give them a call at 907-344-1239 or make an appointment today at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlander products. If you want to customize your vehicle, talk to the team at Total Truck, where you'll find their expertise along with top brands such as ARE, RSI Smart Caps, Goose Gear, iCamper, Frontrunner, Rigid Lights, Rhino Lining bed liners, and everything you need to outfit your truck or SUV. Want to turn your truck into a sleeping option? They have rooftop tents, custom camping equipment, electronics, and solar energy packages to keep you powered up deep in the backcountry. Stop by their store location on Dowling between the new and old Seward Highway, or check them out at TotalTruckAK.com.
I'm like in there the whole time, you know, in this.
Yeah.
for my first checkpoint, you know.
So you deal with the mayhem. You realize now. Do you think you have that thing we talked about?
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, I got it.
I got the bug.
The worst time, dude.
Yeah. So first checkpoint at Squirtna.
Just saying during the race period is like really
Squirtna?
all the.
Dude, this is the worst case of bubble guts you could ever have. And let alone, you know, like I was hoping, you know, I had a 70-mile run to Squirtna, and I was like just wanting to get my race off to a good start. And I think I'm third place.
And that's like the Big Sioux, good trail,
Yeah.
Sleeping Lady, like it's just a nice run, right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful run.
Right.
There's a fucking party the whole way there.
Sure. There's tons of
people.
Yeah, properties and cabins, and
Dude,
yeah.
I was like 6 beers deep. I was feeling
hell
good.
yeah. Okay.
You know, and I was just like, what a fucking awesome start to my rookie run. You know, like incredible. All these fans out there, just parties for like the first 40 miles, like for sure. And then beyond that as well. Bonfires, just families, people getting wild.
Yeah.
Great. Then I get to that checkpoint and like I could feel it kind of like starting to happen. I get all my dogs situated.
You get that first like
and then, you know,
a growler.
It gets to that point where it's like the code red.
Oh shit.
Oh no.
Where it's like
I gotta get this across.
You're damn near leaking.
Yeah, and you're like fumbling around with zippers and
just panic.
Fucking barely get all this shit off in time. And you're out in an outhouse. And then so I spent like the rest of my checkpoint, my time there. I was like, I'm gonna take 4.5 hours. I want to stay here. So, and of course, like it's the first checkpoint. I was taking my time with the dogs, and feeding them. They all got fed good, and we had a little chaos going on. And then I did some interviews, and there's some fans out there, and they're, hey, yeah, whatever, and nice to meet you, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm talking to the people and socializing, and I'm like, all right, you
got a race here.
I got to get out of here. And then, that's when it really came on. And I tried to get some sleep there because,
the race or the bubble guts came on? Like what?
The bubble guts.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The explosions. And so, it was so bad. And, I just really wanted to, try to get my race off to a good start, where I got on a good sleep schedule.
Yeah.
But
at least you were shedding weight.
that didn't happen. And so I spent probably 4 different, separate occasions in this outhouse. We got cozy in there. So I was just
busted a magazine out type shit.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'm just gonna stay in here because as soon as I get my
Ducks
gear back,
Unlimited?
as soon as I get my gear on, fucking there it goes. And it's a race to get it off.
And it's a lot of shit.
Yeah, and
Many layers.
So
So many layers.
So it's time to leave there, and I leave there, and I'm like, okay, I think
this stretches how long?
I don't know. It's probably another 4-hour run to Finger Lake.
It's a long 4 hours.
So I'm like, I think I got the poison out of me,
Yeah.
I think I'm
Got the bug out.
I'm Gucci now.
Yeah.
Well,
Just clapped ass.
a little bit later, not very long,
Oh no, it's back.
is back,
How could there be more?
and I was like,
It's all out.
I was like, oh man, this is gonna be bad. So I'm starting to. There's a tail dragger section, like a little back compartment on your sled, and I have a little cooler, and I made that cooler out of a kitty litter, like a 5-gallon kitty litter bucket. Oh, probably like 4.5, 5 gallons.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
opened-
the
open
bright
square,
yellow
bright yellow one
With the red top
Yeah.
and it opens
Yep.
up.
Yeah.
So I insulated it, wrapped it in duct tape, made a little homemade lightweight cooler.
Oh, cool.
And so I used that, I put a plastic bag in it. And that's where, I'll put the dog's food, all the
Okay.
beef, the raw beef, and I pour the hot water in there, and I scoop it all out of there, and I dish the food out, so
Easy to rinse out when you're.
yeah, and then I
it's
just
empty.
take that plastic bag. That way there's, no contamination. you know?
Oh, right.
And then, so I was like, oh, fuck. This is going to be bad. There's no stopping and just, shitting on the side of the trail. Plus, I got an amped up dog team. If I'm in the middle of, doing my business and, those dogs want to go,
They're gonna go.
they're going to go. I can't
There's
be.
no number 2 stop.
Yeah, you can't, be, in the middle of it and be like, oh, no.
Hold on,
And they're dragging you and you're shitting all over yourself. So I'm shitting on the run is, the only way to do it.
Wow.
So I get my cooler out and I put a plastic bag in it, and then I basically
You did the turn and burn?
yeah, and I sat on that cooler basically the entire way to Finger Lake with my bibs off. Oh, I just stripped my gear off. My legs were so cold.
Oh, I was going to say your ass had to have been frozen, bro.
But there was no way. I was just throwing my gear in my sled, and I had just my base layers. Down at my knees, and I was just sitting in that plastic bucket.
Oh
Dog
my
just
God.
hears a just ear pops up what's he doing back there?
Oh, it was so bad. And there's all these twists and turns and little drops and creek beds and
Just trying to hold on.
It's just
I was
the
trying to
coastal
hold
trail.
on and not tip this bucket over and get shit,
Yeah, dude.
Well, because the first
Liquefied.
time I was like, all right, I think it's good. I'm good. And I'm
You're not good.
I dumped the bucket out on the side of the trail. And I'm like, all right, we're cool. We're gonna keep going. And then next thing I know, I'm running out of those plastic bags, and I'm like, yeah, okay, we just gotta keep this. And
Yeah, we got to run with it.
yeah, so for 4 hours, and then I get to Finger Lake, and I'm
4
like,
hours.
I get to Finger Lake, And I'm hurrying up to do my dog chores and get them fed and bedded down and cared for. And then I'm like, next thing I know, I'm like running over to this little makeshift outhouse in the middle of this fucking lake that they got. And then I'm blowing that up.
Is it Finger Lake right there in Wasilla?
No.
This is a different one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. This is kind of
Up through past Rainey Pass, right?
right before Rainey Pass.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So I guess it's about like 40 miles, I guess, north of Squirtna.
Got it.
This side. Yeah, okay.
Yep. Starting to make your way towards the range. And once you leave Finger
Isn't there
Lake,
like a cabin there or something
yeah,
like
so
that?
there's a lodge.
I think the Iditarod boys have a spot there that they'll...
There's a lodge there at Finger Lake.
Okay.
But like we're not allowed to go in the lodge or anything like that. So we're camped down on the lake, and I think they had a tent, but then they had like, I don't know, there was something weird going on when I got there, but I was too busy dealing with the bubble guts,
Yeah.
so I didn't really care.
Yeah.
And then
Your own
so
agenda there.
I slept outside. So like I didn't go inside a checkpoint until I got to my 24. Like I went inside Squirtna for a little bit, but I was mostly in the outhouse.
Yeah.
And then Finger Lake, I just
outhouse.
yeah, dude, that poor outhouse. And then Finger Lake, I just stayed outside, and then Rainey Pass, I stayed outside, and then I blew through Roan, which is the next checkpoint, and I camped on the trail.
Is that mainly because of your health situation? An embarrassment or just like all of it?
It was, like I was just trying to stay away
Like
from
this
people.
This is an interesting topic to discuss. It can be kind of gross, but it's just so real. and like, well, it's funny, but it's, trying to imagine all the challenges of just doing the race in general and then having a ailment.
Yeah.
Like a really bad ailment. Like not just
And
an
I'm sure this
injury or-
happens in ultra marathon.
Oh, hell yeah.
The
Yeah,
Iron
good
Dog. Like this has got to happen.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing a race where you're doing a triathlete thing and you're swimming, and at some point, someone's gonna have to.
You gotta go when
you
you
had
gotta
the wrong
go.
Kung Pao. Just like,
Yeah. I didn't go in those checkpoints, I guess, for a number of different reasons. I was like, hey, I think, like, there was a couple guys, I was like, hey, I think I got, like, a stomach bug. Like,
Oh, you don't want to get other people
I'm
sick.
like, I guess I could have been an asshole and spread the love.
Yeah.
wow, that's thoughtful, man.
Yeah.
You're such a sportsman, bro.
I know. Caring.
You ready for some of the trivia?
Trivia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pause that though,
Okay.
because he wasn't done talking about the guns.
Oh, it wasn't. Okay, sorry.
Oh,
I thought we covered
get
it.
shit. Oh.
No, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, so I just stayed out of those checkpoints and.
Well, I remember you had. I guess I was kind of leading up to a climax here.
No, it just
I thought there
the
was
climax was just me shitting my brains out for a really long period of time.
I thought there was a point where you actually pooped your pants.
No,
I thought we were getting to that.
no, it was
Shit.
a lot of sketchy moments. Like I said, like sitting in the bucket trying to steer
Red
the
Dog was
sled.
like, "Don't you shit your pants, guy. Don't embarrass me."
He said, "I thought there was gonna be a point where you shit your pants."
But yeah,
You're like waiting for the climax on the
I
shit
was-
story.
sorry to disappoint.
It's okay. I'm glad you didn't, because I mean, how would you clean that up?
Oh man,
Socks, man. Socks.
socks and gloves.
Socks.
T-shirt sleeves.
Socks, gloves, t-shirt sleeves. Just,
Maybe some soft
You ever
snow.
seen a homie leave into the woods without toilet paper and come back without sleeves?
without socks. Not sleeves though. It's a good one though.
Damn, man. I seen Chris walk out of the woods one time and his fucking shirt's ripped and it's like flapping. I'm like, he wasn't wearing a sleeveless T-shirt. What are you wearing? Oh, yes,
Wow.
cotton soft.
Wow, cotton soft. All right, we kind of already went over this, but we'll ask it again because Brandon probably forgot.
Oh, for sure.
How much faster is the Iditarod today than when the race first started?
In days, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say when the race very first started, it was 23 to 24 days. So it's, down to 9 days? So it's almost twice, a little over twice as fast?
Yep.
Yeah.
Eddie?
Oh, I'm in it. Okay.
You're in. No.
Wow, you should really know this.
Man.
Yeah,
So
no pressure at all.
yeah, record time, depending on the route, is 8 days and some change.
Oh.
Depending on the route. Yeah, first, I guess, winning pace for the very first Iditarod. Is that what we're...
Just how much faster is the Iditarod today than when the first race started?
Yeah, it would be like, we've cut it down to like 12 days.
Yeah.
I think we're like 12 days faster.
The first Iditarod took place in 1973, and it took about 20 days to complete.
Okay, I was a little bit high.
Currently, it takes about 10 days.
So it's
About
cut in half.
Yeah.
twice, yeah.
Okay.
Question number 2. You said it, but you got it wrong. What's the record for the Iditarod, time-wise?
It's 8 days and some...
We need exact.
8
Hours,
days,
minutes.
6 hours.
8 days, 6 hours?
8 days, 9 hours, and 12 minutes.
According to Jack, who looked these up,
Jack's trivia.
Dallas Seavey 2021, 7 days,
Oh, shit.
14 hours,
Yeah, that's not a traditional route, though.
8 minutes, 57 seconds.
So is that as an asterisk?
Still the
Yeah.
Iditarod. That's the asterisk, though.
What would
Yeah,
Dallas say in this moment?
Because when you're going off the fastest time, you gotta base it off of finishing in Nome, because that's what every Iditarod has finished.
Okay.
So the historic trails Willow to Nome. So that's what you got to go
did-
off of.
Okay.
Okay, so traditional, original
So-
OG route.
Yep. So John Baker holds the record for the southern route, which is like 8 days and who knows. And then there's the northern route, and it's another 8 days
And some change.
and some
Okay.
change.
Okay.
Stand corrected, Jack. Where did the name Iditarod come from?
The old gold mine in town of Iditarod. I don't know.
Same answer?
It's got to be a guy's name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the race is named for the ghost town of Iditarod.
Oh, a
'Cause
ghost.
it was originally just going to go there.
Yeah. The name of the route once carried mail supplies and gold prospectors to the town of Iditarod. The town was named for the Iditarod River and was once flush with action in the early 20th century gold rush. But after the gold ran out in 1930s, everyone left. All that's left is a few abandoned shelters and a rusty old bank vault.
Man, it's always my imagination kind of goes wild when I think about those days.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a time when that was a bustling little thing
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and like you see that equipment out there, and it's like, how in the hell
Did it get out here?
did they get these dredges and
Especially back then.
exact? I mean, we're talking a long ways from any sort of major hub. We're talking 1920s.
Wow.
Is some rough terrain to those guys were tough.
Yeah, we're weak now.
Those were some motivated people to get out there and go find some gold.
That's all you had.
You ain't kidding.
That's all you had.
Motivated.
You know what I mean? You couldn't just,
I mean, if you were all in on it, you were all in on it.
yeah.
It's like you weren't going to get a job somewhere else, or
No. What are you going to
you
do?
were all the way out there. Yeah, it does. It's mind boggling. It all had to be done in the wintertime, right? On skids and horses and shit. Like what did that?
I'm sure some of it.
It wasn't a fucking Chinook helicopter like grabbed it and dropped it down. And
I'm sure they could have used the rivers in some cases.
and barges and stuff. Okay.
So I'm sure
Definitely
they used
did that.
phases of things. Transferred. Used the summer terrain. to their advantage as they could, and then use the winter terrain as best as they could, and transfer
dog sleds and
dogs, horses, all that played a major role in getting a lot of that equipment and materials and all that stuff out there.
Are there any new rookies on the rise? Did you guys already have to sign up?
Yep. So signups are done.
Is there anybody new?
Yeah, there's a bunch of rookies.
Oh, there is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
Yeah. There's, I don't know, you can pull it up on Iditarod.
Okay, so there is. There's like new people coming in.
Yeah.
The internet's spotty.
That's such a great photo, man.
Yeah, I love that picture of the team. All Blenny boy.
Did somebody get a professional photo right there?
Yep.
With a gangster camera? Okay.
Yeah, it's Julia Reddington. Shout out to her.
Oh, okay.
North Wonders Photography.
Yetna River, day 1. So that's right out of Squirtna.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, that's a great picture. Is there any anything new in the gear bag? Anything new that you came across? Like, I'm switching it to this, or you got a new sleeping bag or something?
So, like, that Feathers Friends bag.
Still legit.
Still fucking tried and proven. Like, I slept in that thing. Well, for the first, like I said, I didn't go inside a checkpoint till Takotna. Then after Takotna, I blew over, camped on the trail. So, like, when I'm saying on the trail, like out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Laying in the hay with the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little straw, sleeping bag on top.
The straw, yeah.
Maybe a sleeping pad, I have one of those accordion little foam pads.
Let them rest.
And put the bag on that. Climb in there with, like, depending on the temps, usually just like my puffy pants, my puffy jacket, if it's dry. If not, I let everything sit out hanging on my dog sled, and it dries out. All the frost comes to the surface. Brush the frost off, and everything's dry. For most of the time. Sometimes you're not that lucky and you're putting on wet gear.
Yeah.
Which sucks. Yeah. That's like my least favorite.
Is there something, though, that you got that's new? New jacket, new gloves, new pair, something you discovered?
Those Intuition liners, I really like those inside those Norwegian, like, over boots.
Is that like the old Bombas?
What are those?
It's just like a little liner that you put over your foot. It's almost like a little booty, like a little sock.
So this is it's a foam liner. And so there's like one downfall with it. With it being foam, it doesn't breathe the best. But if you do like a vapor barrier, so you could do like the way I do it is I didn't have to change my boot liner once. And everything stayed dry, and my feet stayed warm. And 35 below, like, my feet are toasty. So I like those wool socks by Fitz. They're heavyweight expedition sock. I think those are awesome. They breathe really good. They don't hold moisture. And so I put those on. Then I put a vapor barrier, which
Cars bag?
You could do like that, or I use these by Rab. They're like a booty that you put on. And so I slip that over my wool sock, and then I put a wool sock over that, and I do like those Fox River heavyweight expedition,
Yeah.
And those do pretty good. So I put those in, and I slide those into those foam Intuition liners, and, like, they don't weigh a thing. They're extremely light.
Yeah.
That's why I like them, and they're foam.
Do they cover the whole foot?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and they come. They're like a boot almost.
Okay.
Like an
insole.
A foam, and they mold to your foot.
Oh, so it's thin.
Not like
what's it
super
called? Can
thin.
I look it up?
Yeah, Intuition liners, and so they make a lot of stuff for ski boots.
Oh, there it is, right there.
Intuition. It's a foam. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they got different styles. I go with the Muckluck.
Almost kind of looks like a liner inside of a snow machine boot.
Yeah, snow machine boot or ski boot, and they're pretty warm, extremely lightweight.
And that goes, so like you have like a merino wool sock.
Yep.
That, and then an overboot?
Yeah, and then I put this really lightweight Norwegian overboot. It's waterproof.
And
Is that what you're wearing right now? What are you wearing?
No,
What
I'm
are
wearing
those?
Lobens, which
Oh,
is
okay.
like a Norwegian boot, but
Okay.
it's supposed to go in the overboot.
Okay,
The boot
gotcha,
you're wearing
gotcha.
right now?
Yeah,
Throw your foot up there real quick. What are you wearing?
basically. So it's a wool.
Okay.
Wool,
Okay.
wool and leather boot, and they're warm and they're comfy. But I think that I like the lightweight aspect
The intuition one.
of the Intuition liner.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Almost can't even feel them.
you can't. Like they absolutely weigh nothing.
And then you put all that gear on it. Every ounce really does matter.
Yeah, and I like to run and kick and like help out my
Yeah,
dogs and
yeah.
be active on the sled.
Well, you're an
so-
athletic guy, and I imagine you like to apply that to your
it's-
mushing strategy, right? I mean,
it's a team sport.
Yeah.
You know,
Like, I mean,
not going to sit back and let them do all the work.
Sure,
And
sure.
they get fired up. It seems like they notice it. Whether it's just because that's the way I trained them, you know, and they're like, "Oh, Dad's off running, like time to get
Let's
on
go.
it," you know.
Yeah.
Let's go. But those Intuition liners, those are really good. So, you know, I don't know what kind of aspect or what application someone could like use those in, but they would go in any boot, I guess. You could put them in any boot. They're extremely warm, extremely light.
so
You have
that's
to
a
like
new
size
piece.
up.
Yeah, so I get like a true fit basically, or maybe half a size or one size bigger, so I can layer those socks and
Under
have
there.
the room.
Got it.
I think like that's one of the biggest issues like people have with cold feet is like
Yeah.
if it's real snug, you know, with your thick sock in there, like
It's not gonna go around.
yeah, like you're not going to have the circulation
Yeah.
that you need. You're not going to have the room, you know. So you're going to have cold feet, like if your toes are snug in there. So yeah, I like to get like one size bigger, and then of course like the overboot. You know, I want it to fit snug. Like I don't want it to be sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want it like tight.
Yeah. But I think like everything else, I'm basically using the same. I got some really last year. I bought a pair of down bibs from Mountain Hardware, and like usually Mountain Hardware, it's kind of. I like those compressor pants that they have. They dry out really quick, like extremely quick. They breathe really good, so they work like good under a shell. You know,
Yeah.
and you can be real active in them, or like even just wearing them in like warmer conditions, you know,
Like
if
the club?
if it's get your grind done. You know, you can wear them in like warmer conditions, as long as it's dry out. You know, they're not waterproof or anything, but they would do good in that. But I bought these down bibs from Mountain Hardware, and I guess going back to like Mountain Hardware, I've always kind of thought a lot of their stuff was on the cheaper side.
Okay.
It just never really seemed to be that durable or like hold up very well.
Yeah.
You know, like make cheap zippers and this and that,
Yeah.
and start to fall
Stitching
apart.
starts-
Fall apart. But like the compressor pants, like seem spot on. Like they seem high quality.
Yeah, that was
And,
a good piece.
Yeah, I wear the shit out of those, and then I basically live in them all winter. And then those bibs, the down bibs, are like they seem to be. I was really impressed with them, and they're really
Okay.
warm. They weigh nothing. They're waterproof, windproof.
When or why are you wearing these? Is this like a training piece, or because you're not racing in those?
So no, like all racing those down bibs.
Oh, I thought you had like a bib shell that went
So
over those.
no, previously, I always used to use climb bibs. And then I'd wear like the Mountain Hardware compressor pants underneath, or if it was cold, I'd wear like the Rab puffy pants,
Right.
and
Okay.
I'd wear those
Yeah.
underneath the shell, and like that would be pretty warm to like 30 below or so, 40 below, and it's never really getting too much colder than that. And then if it is, like, you're just probably going to be uncomfortable anyways.
Yeah. I feel like just 20 or 30 below talk sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like pretty warm.
Yeah,
It's 30 below.
Like anything over 30 below, then that's kind of like where it starts to really change. And like
That's a threshold.
things don't really work as well. But like those Mountain Hardware down pants or down bibs, it's a full bib set. It's made out of Pertex material,
Okay.
which I really like. And like I said, it's waterproof, windproof. And so I wear those on like cold days, like 20 below and colder.
Yeah.
I wear those.
Got it.
And they like do a really good job at breathing, you know, like they're not all damp and fucking moist and shit when you go and take them off. Like you go and you take your bibs off, like everything underneath you is dry.
Not all
And,
wet
like,
from
that's
sweat that
what
came
you
out
want.
and bounced off that and came back in.
Yeah, they come out and you can see like a little bit of the frost build up on the outside shell, and you brush it
Yeah.
off and like
Good range of movement. In
yeah,
them, too.
like yeah, no,
'Cause
like
Mountain Hardware stuff does fit good. Is the one thing that they have going for them.
yeah, I think it fits good. It looks good. You
Yeah.
know, they have like a lot of good looking gear, and I
Yeah.
think maybe they're making some improvements.
I mean, they are a hardcore mountaineering company, but I know what you mean by just you can get some products that just kind of
Yeah, they a little chintzy.
but
But
cut corners.
Like the compressor pants, like I said, really top notch. And then yeah, these down bibs are really nice. So like if you were mountaineering or I think you can do anything in them. You could ski, snowboard, whatever, because like
Ice fishing, whatever.
range of motion, all of that. It's like you have nothing on.
Yeah.
I mean, you go straight ninja in out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight Flanders.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all, baby. And then what?
You guys remember that episode though?
No.
What from
But-
Simpsons?
No. I wasn't.
You guys
allowed
ever
to
watch
it.
Simpsons? Oh, you weren't allowed to watch
I
it.
mean, I know who
My
Flanders
kids are
is.
watching it
Do you
now.
remember
though.
they go to the ski resort and Flanders is wearing like the full onesie red spandex suit. He's like
not
wearing
ringing a
nothing
bell.
at all, and he's like shaking his ass. And Homer's like, "Goddamn sexy Flanders." I thought everybody knew, but okay.
No.
But yeah, I think that's
There's only 1 million episodes.
I think that's about it for
gear
my,
wise.
Okay,
for my gear.
you're still going true blue on a lot of stuff you started with.
Yeah, because it works, and I guess I haven't really felt the need to change it. I mean, there's like some jackets, you know, that I've gotten new, you know, and maybe they've discontinued some or what have you, but it's still like I wear a lot of Rab, and a lot of Pertex.
You don't go full Canadian Goose, bro? Just full rich boy?
You know, I hear their parka is all right. There was a couple of people that were sponsored by Canada Goose, and they said like, you know, the bibs, they weren't all that great. Like, I mean, I think it's definitely a fashionable.
I know, that's why I mentioned like the.
Yeah. Oh, it's a.
You guys didn't laugh.
I
I said the rich boy shit. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
'cause
Well,
you're
that's what
rich,
you're
you
into.
wear 'em. Yeah, I was just.
You got some?
I said,
boy?
okay,
Canada.
you know I don't have it when I say Canadian Goose because it's Canada Goose.
Yeah.
It's like the Canadian Goose gear.
But I mean, their shit's nice.
Clearly, I don't have any of that shit.
Their shit's nice.
No, it's beautiful gear. I just
But yeah, a lot of the Rab
Never gonna
stuff,
have
some
any problem.
outdoor research.
Does Fial Raven have any crazy stuff for that? I don't know. There's stuff that seems like it's so like fancy, but
Yeah.
yet it's good
hell
shit.
nice gear.
I think it's good quality
This is
and all.
a big raise checking it out. I want to buy some, but I'm like,
I think it's good quality.
$200
And
pants?
I haven't tried their stuff out, but it seems like it's almost more like high quality city gear.
Yeah.
You know, like fashionable.
Definitely that looks
Like,
fashionable.
if like you got to hit the trail after work, like you'll be good.
yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know if
I've seen those one pants that they have that
They
are real
look good.
popular. I see guys and
Oh,
gals
those, like, wax
hunting with
ones?
them. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Well, they got some real crazy stuff. Like their parka, I tried it on when I was in Seattle last year or whatever. And I was like, man, this is probably the burliest coat I've ever put on in my life. I was trying to convince myself, yeah, this is for like ice fishing and
Straight flip.
it's like, nah, $1,200? Nope. Nope.
Not happening.
Yeah, and they make a parka out of that. I'm kind of curious to try it. That Mountain Hardware, they make a parka like out of the same material as the bibs, and it looks like a pretty nice, warm, cozy parka.
Do they have it in a very bright color? Because I feel like a musher has to be bright.
I think it's orange, and I'm like,
Perfect.
fuck. That's like the only I was like, I get it if it wasn't orange.
If it wasn't
You're more of a
orange,
like purple guy, right?
Yep, purple, pink,
Yeah.
Femi colors.
nice, dude. Nice. All right.
Well, we want to wish you good luck in the season coming up.
No,
New
thank
dogs with the place. I want to come visit the place.
you. Yeah, no, you guys come out anytime.
Really cool.
We'll go
I know
for
mean, we always
my
wanted
brother
to
was
come to
like
Nana.
saying how awesome it was, and
Yeah.
because he's been helping you with the
Yeah,
plumbing
no,
stuff.
he kicks ass.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
Carlo?
I was,
Yeah.
so I was like, oh, I want to go check it out. And he's like, oh, you're right by Eddie, because I was telling him some other places I was checking out to buy something.
So
So it
are
might be
you
neighbors,
plan
so.
on doing like a cabin, or
Yeah.
you want to get like a full-time residence out there?
No, I ain't trying to live there.
No,
Cabin.
fucking Willer, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, Willer.
Yeah,
Couple dogs.
You know, one thing
There you go. You should.
Get Tom and Jerry in there.
Well, you got a new dog.
She ain't built for that.
You need.
She's city dogs.
You need one that you can go take hunting and all that.
I do. She's a Vizsla. She is a hunting dog, but she ain't no. Actually, she loves the snow and all that, but she ain't ready for that race.
Yeah,
life.
when I was growing up, man, on these party hunts with my dad and his buddies, always had a dog running next to the rig.
Yeah.
They didn't ride in the rig.
No,
it
next to
ran.
the-
Yeah,
yeah.
it ran.
Yeah.
They
Well,
were- they were
that's what
built
she could
for
be.
it.
She could be a
Maven?
trip. Yeah, man. She's a soldier.
Prettiest girl I ever saw.
Oh, she's so
She
pretty.
does not need to be running on no trails.
Oh, man.
I'll hold her. I'll put her in a backpack. Like, nah.
Oh, she loves to run, man.
And
She
she's
loves
full
it.
of it.
Any other questions, B?
No, man, just really good to catch up with you, Eddie.
No, yeah.
And you know, I wanted to say congratulations to your rookie year. I mean, I kind of, contacted you through text and stuff, but you've really taken this dog mushing thing seriously. And I would say that you're I don't know the sport that well, but I feel like you've entered the realm of elite status. And you're
You got a
committed.
target on your back now. All these rookies.
Yeah, you got the sophomore year coming up. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that it's really cool to see the culmination of where it all began, because we know the story. To make the pivot that you made with the Nana dog team, and that was a really cool situation that was going on there. And now to spread your wings and do your own thing in really a relatively short amount of time, if you think about when you started doing this.
Yeah. No,
I mean, you're fucking G for doing this, dude.
I've been on the fast track. I think
for sure.
I think I'm probably one of the least experienced. I don't know. I don't know this for sure, but I'd say I'm probably one of the least experienced rookies to ever join Iditarod here, especially probably in the past, 20 years or so. And then to place in the top 10, I think there's only been five mushers to ever place in the top 10 on their rookie year.
Shows your passion for it, man. You can see it,
Yeah, I mean, you really, really went all in on it.
No, I mean, it's
what it takes to be that good.
You have to be obsessive.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have that work ethic, that drive. You have to love it. I mean, if you don't, then,
Work a full-time 10-hour-a-day job and still deal with your dogs and your cabin and your camp and your team and finding dogs and training dogs and
But it's like with anything, you know, it's like you guys podcasts or someone starting their own business or, you know, I mean, it just, it takes a lot of grinding, a lot of hustling.
Yeah.
But it takes like the also supportive people because it's just not just me, you know, it's sponsors, you know, McKenna Brothers, Alaska Seal Coating. I've had some new ones come on.
Yeah.
Western Enterprise, Trig Air. Some of these I haven't announced yet, and I want to have, I think, a few more coming on as well. So,
well, and family and friends too.
Like family, friends, like, you know,
people caring for your children. Like, I mean, just all of it, dude. Like the
Candace
support
making
really,
the website.
Yeah.
You know, my buddy making the logo. It's like all these little things that.
And she loves it, man. She's like so stoked to help you out, and
for sure. And like,
know?
it's like I don't know how to do that shit. You know.
Yeah.
And she set up like the business license for me and this and that.
Yeah.
And like, it's all these behind the scene things as well. And then like, you know, you got
you're the
Carlo out
NASCAR
there helping
driver,
me out
bro.
with plumbing. And, you know, like I'm no carpenter. I'm out there, you know, doing all the trim and paneling in the cabin and cabinet, you know, and I had some other buddies come out and help. And so it's just, there's been like a big learning curve. For sure, like on some of this stuff, you know, like, because like resources are limited too. Like it'd be one thing if like money was no option. You can just you can just hire people, you know, hire a professional.
A black credit card, you just
yep. Build me a cabin, clear me the land,
whatever the cost, just handle it.
Yeah, build me a website, you know, get all this dog equipment, whatever. So, but. You gotta, it's like, well, shit, I don't got the money for that. So I guess I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this on my own, you know? And it's like, all right, I can do fucking trim work. I can, I can install countertops.
Yeah, let's YouTube it, man.
Call somebody.
No, exactly. So it's been fun. It's been crazy. It's been stressful. But to me, it's worth it. And, you know, I want to continue to like grow and improve in the sport. I think I've definitely, I've had a great start. You know, I've only been racing for 3 years. I only have 3 years of racing under my belt, you know, and most people, they go and they do Iditarod. They've been running dogs for 10 years or 15 years.
And that's what I meant. It's a short amount of time where you started where you are now.
Yeah, no, it's in.
You're in the mix.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. You know, I don't think of myself as an elite musher or one of the best or anything like that. But I guess I have shown that I can be highly competitive. You know, I can be in the top placing at. You know,
you can run with it.
Yeah, or at least my race record shows that. You know, my race resume does, and I still got a lot to learn. And a lot of things to improve on, you know, for sure. But
that goes with everyone and everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
There's always room for improvement.
Never ending.
Never ending.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you the best of luck.
No, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, and thanks for coming in.
We'll check in again when we can and see how things are going. I mean,
you're the number one guest, top guest.
You're a resident musher, bro, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure you guys have had guys on here more than 3 times.
No, I don't think so.
Repeats.
We've had a couple repeats.
We've got some of our like extended crew that comes on every few weeks. That were at maybe the first time a guest and now have become a regular on the show. I mean, you're really. I mean, we're talking about like. Every season we've had you on.
Yeah.
We're going on 3 years. So.
Once a year. Come on, done a little race or season recap, you know.
Yeah.
So, no, it's been cool. And
well, if anybody's listening to this and they're really interested because all your shows have been great, to listen now, they can go and listen to all 3 of these recordings.
See the progression.
And they can and it's really
well, we didn't cover a lot of stuff that we already did, you know what I mean, like a lot of stuff that we pretty much already covered in the previous episodes. This is more like an update. So if you want like more in depth, because we really got in depth in like how they did run and how the planning goes and all that stuff, like in the previous episodes. So if you go back and definitely look at those.
Yeah, raising a team from pups and you know how your previous experience, it's different now.
It is.
Because you're like I don't know if this like sounds wrong or not, but I equate you to kind of like a new NASCAR team. Like you're getting a motor from this team, you're getting some parts from this team, and those are your dogs, and and you're putting your race trailer together, and
so
before you know it, it will go ground up.
Yeah, I'm kind of scrounging together. Like I said, I had April to September 1st to basically get everything I needed to have a competitive kennel, and I still haven't even acquired everything, but I got mostly everything, and I'm still getting piecing things together for sure. But it's I kind of lost my train of thought there of where I was going with all that. But it's definitely, I had to start from scratch, and it's been a quick process.
Yeah, and that's what I meant. Like you
didn't let it.
Your approach at this season is way different from being mentored into it.
Like you're your own. Everything's on you now.
Yeah.
Yep. And
it's a ground up project.
Like that first year, it was like here's this young puppy team, train them, and I was off on my own. And I was doing everything myself and on my own little schedule and making my own judgment calls and things like that. And then that second year, as they're a little older, and I was I was racing more at a competitive level with them.
Yeah. Building them up.
But still, I was the only one running them, training them, making decisions. Of course, bouncing ideas off of them as well and getting input and all of that. And then last year, I was really on my own, and I was just communicating with Tony, and I'd be like, hey, I'm going to go do this, I think, with him, or I want to set him up this way, or I want to peak him for this race. So, what's the best way you think we can do that? And, we'd bounce ideas off, but for the most part, once again, like on my own doing that. So but I think that's really helped me to be able to like now be fully independent in such a short amount of time,
Yeah. That's what's so cool about it.
That freedom allowed me to make a lot of mistakes in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And then it's either, you
almost had like a little safety net there.
You have to be quick to resolve these issues or make split second decisions on the trail, or, be able to read these dogs and, recover from it and, improve from it and realize these mistakes and all that. So, that freedom definitely, like, it's taught me a lot, and it gave me the opportunity to, like, be where I'm at.
Yeah, and I would say, as we approach our closing of the show, that, you're tenured. I would say you're a veteran at this point. If we're talking about athletes, we're talking about the lifespan and shelf life of an athlete in general, because I qualify you 100% as an athlete doing what you're doing when you're talking about the run you're making with the lack of sleep and the mental and the physical and the training and the working with the dogs and you're an athlete like any other, probably one of the most unique athletes on the planet if you think about it in the grand scheme of things. But I kind of lost my train of thought there. Where I was going with that. Where was I going with that? Damn it! I was thinking too fast. My point is that you're. If you think about like a pro athlete, a football player, a basketball player, a baseball player, you're 3, 4, 5. They're in the league. They're established. They're a veteran. Mm-hmm. So maybe elite was like blowing it up a little too much. I'm thinking like.
We're expecting top 3.
Well, I just think that you're approaching it, and in your races at this point, you're going for the dub now, know, and so, because I remember you talking about racing your teams before, and it was like, we're really not trying to win necessarily, we're just trying to run and get pace and get experience, and now it's like you probably know how to actually strategically approach races.
And some of it, well, a lot of it has to do with the dogs. Is the dogs as well. So like, I came on, I had a puppy team. They're like, here's your babies, train them. Like, they've had no training, develop these dogs.
It takes a couple years.
Take them into their very first race. So, like, of course, our first race, like, we're just trying to go around the track and make it positive and happy and all that. So, like, the first season was about that. Second season was like, okay, they're a year older. They're still not fully mature, but you can race them at a competitive level. So now it's like showing them competitive level racing. And so I had some good competitive finishes, you know, and like went to the Kobuck 440, and I mixed in some veteran dogs, and I took third, you know, against like some of the best dog mushers in the sport, you know.
Yep.
And then last year was where it was like, okay, now I have this dog team they're ready, like they're veterans. And then I mixed in some other veterans, you know, that were 6 and 7 and that have been racing at that competitive level for a few years. So with that, I knew I could go for it. So like that's how, you know, I went to the Kinnick, we won that, go to the Cusco third, you know, and then Iditarod, get top 10. And so now this year though, I'm almost kind of back at square one.
Because you have a whole new dog team.
Because I have a whole new dog team, but these dogs
whole new training area
are veterans though.
Mm-hmm.
And they have been. There's only 5 of them that haven't been raced, but the rest of the 15 dogs in the kennel are veteran dogs, and have been to some race or another.
Yeah.
Whether it's been Iditarod or some mid distance, things like that. So, I think I can take my abilities as a dog man and a trainer, and then also as a racer, the skills that I've learned over the past several years, and I think I can put together a competitive dog team. And I think for Iditarod, you know, like I'm hoping to improve from like last year's finish.
Yeah.
But you know, like getting into the top 10 is like a
good goal,
really big accomplishment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's a tough battle, you know, to get in that top 10. And, you know, I'd like to crack that top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'll do a full send, like, if we got it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm still learning so much from
full
these
off
guys.
the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Tethered this time?
a fan came up with that name.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
And actually, well, he's not really necessarily a fan of mine, but he's just kind of a fan of the sport, and he does like commentary on the races and things like that. And so I believe he came up with the name, and he put it out on his Facebook page. And then the fans kind of voted. He had like a couple different options.
Oh, really? Well,
and then, so they were voting, and kind of like there were some that were getting a lot of traction or whatever. And I was like, I like Off the Rails the best. So it was kind of the little play on me falling off. And
yeah. That's good. It fits. It fits.
Yeah, man. You went off the rails. You're on your own, and you got to make this work.
Yeah, and this whole dog team's kind of off the rails. It's a
hodgepodge kind of group, and
it's a crazy, wild group. Like really eager to please, really eager to run, high energy, and
they see you hauling that water, and they're like, "See, Dad's putting in the work, man.
Yeah, we better run.
Well, he wants it."
Yeah, I did. I need to get that well wired up.
Yeah.
I've been hounding that electrician. I don't know where he's at.
Oh man, get over.
Because I don't know nothing about.
Who does?
Like I can do a little bit.
That one is definitely subbing out.
Like I can do a little bit of carpentry, you know. I'll build a dog house or something. But those wires, man.
You don't want to fry that hair, bro.
No. It's the only thing I got.
Hang on to it.
It's still flowing too, man.
It's flowing nice.
It looks good.
Nice.
They said best hair in Iditarod.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, keep that going, man.
Yeah, that was like the story that, you know, I kept getting hounded by the reporters for talking about my hair.
We got to get you like a shampoo sponsor.
Yeah, that would be good.
Oh, no shit, man. Like the Tony Polamalu head and shoulders type shit?
Yeah.
Is there an Alaska local shampoo sponsor?
I don't know, man. That native shampoo, I like that native stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
I don't know. I
use shampoo?
I used to shave other stuff. I go to the ethnic. the ethnic
Just on the
section.
sides.
Oh, okay.
And I get that shea butter.
Oh, yeah. You gotta keep that shit soft.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially in the past, I lived in a dry cabin.
Oh.
So, and other people might get kind of grossed out by this, but, I'd probably only shower every 7 to 10 days.
Yeah.
But by the time that rolls around, my hair's starting to turn into dreads, and it gets all natted together. And then it takes a half hour of unraveling the nest, So it's half a bottle of conditioner and just wads of hair.
I'm actually just envisioning Eddie just chilling, sitting on the floor with this old lady behind him. He's got a 40 and she's just cornrolling that shit. Oh, it looks so good.
So good. That's what I should probably do.
Hell
Wintertime,
dude.
Just roll it up.
for the race.
Hey, man.
Kind of like the dudes do for the fights. Just get
Yeah.
your hair done.
Oh,
for the
yeah.
race.
Get it out of the way.
More aerodynamic, too.
Yeah,
There you
for
go.
Sure.
Because I thought, the mullet,
It
I was
won't be flowing.
I was like, man, that's aerodynamic, that's built for speed. So that's why I cut it that way. And then,
cut that side draft off. Just
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because before I just had it real long. I mean, I've had mullets back when I was in high school and younger and all that, on and
Clean
off over
ones.
the years. But I was like, yeah, this is. I had just long hair everywhere, and I was like, yeah, I gotta do the mullet. I gotta get fast, streamlined.
I mean, either go cornrows or man bun. And I say,
Oh yeah, cornrows.
Yeah.
Keep it G.
Well, and the man bun, that doesn't really work with hats.
Nah.
I'd have to my beanie. I'd have to cut a little.
oh, a little nub out.
Oh, at the top.
so it
No.
can
Have they
stick
made
out.
that kind of hat yet?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because they have the ponytail hat for the girls. Do they have the man bun hat?
Well, they got those saggy sock hats.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh,
know?
there you go.
Yeah.
Just hide the bun.
Yeah.
I think your dogs would disrespect you if you had that thing sticking out.
Who's this guy?
They wouldn't look at me
Yeah.
the same.
Red dog would be disgusted.
He'd just go in his house. Wouldn't look at me.
Cut that thing off, bro.
Thank you, Alaska. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Eddie, for coming in. Off the Rails Racing. Eddie B.
Off the Rails.
Jr. on Instagram. Give the boy a follow. Thank you for checking out the website. Thank you for following our Instagram and our YouTube page. And a special thanks to all the people we were shouting out local greens the other day. Subscriptions came in. There was a guy who just moved here from Italy with his family, heard on the podcast about the local greens and wanted to support local and went in there and bought the subscription. So shout out to that guy. And there was actually quite an increase of subscriptions. So thank you to people that did that. There's still a few left if you want to go get that. If you want that local green,
You had
green,
18
fresh.
a couple weeks ago, so it's narrowing down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you have something else to add?
Get it while it's hot. Oh, I was going to throw out that love to local greens, but you beat me to it.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you as always, and Alaska as always.
Stay wild.
You remember my speaking to you of what I call your overcautiousness. Are you not overcautious when you assume that you cannot do what the enemy is constantly doing?
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Big Rays, the Alaskan outfitter, committed to outfitting Alaskans across the state since 1947. Whether you're a recreator, parent, guide, or corporate buyer, Big Rays has the gear you need, tailored for Alaska's harsh conditions. Check out their new exclusive line of aerolic waders. Big Rays for all your outdoor gear and rugged work attire. BigRays.com.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
thetreehouseak.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives. AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce cards, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO.
Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate the vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They are the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Lawn Pro AK, Alaska's year-round professional property maintenance team. Services include weekly lawn care, custom landscaping, fertilizing, weed control, turf repair, and more. Schedule your free estimate at lawnproak.com.
Alaska's OG cider company, Double Shovel, crafting gluten-free colonial-style ciders, founded as a healthier, non-inflammatory brew option. Drop by their Pop and Tap room in Anchorage off of 58th and Arctic, or visit the second location in Kodiak. Double Shovel, award-winning ciders.
The Alaska chapter of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. BHA is the voice of our Alaskan public lands, waters, and wildlife. Their goal is to uphold our hunting and fishing legacy while keeping our public lands wild. Stand up today and join BHA at backcountryhunters.org.
Alaska Mining and Diving Supply, located in Anchorage, is our go-to for powder sleds and utility rigs. Whether you're in the mountains with the flat bill bros, running trap lines, or hauling freight, they have the selection to get you dialed from peaks to the valleys. Find them on Commercial Drive or akmining.com.
Should you not claim to be at least his equal in prowess and act upon the claim? I say try. If we never try, we shall never succeed. This proposition is a simple truth, and is too important to be lost sight of for a moment. If we cannot beat the enemy where he now is, we never can. It is all easy if our troops march as well as the enemy, and it is unmanly to say they cannot do it.